Ah, look at that. Right on the number zero. Man, I couldn't have done better than that if I tried. Welcome, everybody, to the Centralist. I hope everyone's having a good Friday evening. I know it's 9 o'clock here in the South, and everybody's just getting warmed up. They're not going out for another couple of hours yet. Some are out having dinner, but a lot of people are just home having a few cocktails, listening to us, getting ready to go out tonight. He says it's different in New Orleans. The clubs don't close, they just don't close. So a lot of people don't go out till 11, 12, midnight, stuff like that. And then they go out and they drink until dawn, and then they go have breakfast and they go home, go to sleep. It's just a thing here. It used to be a bigger thing when Fat City existed, but now that they killed Fat City, not as much, but still. And you know what, tourists, y'all can come down here and do it too. It's not illegal. You can walk in a convenience store and buy liquor. Oh, yeah, hard liquor. You can walk in any bar that's open 24 hours and have a drink, have dinner, have lunch because they all serve food because it's required. Look, people, it's the place to hang out. Now, call me or write to me. Don't call me. Write to me at iCarCox.net, and I'll tell you the places to stay away from. And I'll even give you some places you can go have a much better time and some really, 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 really good food. Yes. And just tell me what kind of budget you're on, and I'll help you out with that too. I don't mind. I mean, we got a lot of listeners, and I know most of y'all are not going to write to me about this, but if you know you're coming down in Jeremy, yes. Actually, to be totally honest with you, I have met many, 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 many people off the internet. When I first started doing this many moons ago, probably more moons than you bitches are alive, been alive. I used to be funny about meeting people. And then over the years, I got to meet more and more and more and more and more people we hung out in chat rooms with, people from support groups, things like that. And you know what? They're just everyday people, man. And I'm friends with a lot of them now, long-term friends with a lot of them, 20, 25 years with them. And it's nice. So today I'm not, I'm always a little bit leery about meeting internet people. You never know who's going to be the crazy person that wants to shoot up the town or something. But, and I got a story for y'all later, but it's interesting. So yeah, if you're coming down and you're interested, I'll meet you in one of the clubs in New Orleans, and we can have lunch or something like that and chat. And especially if you're interested in some of the other things I do, that's even a better reason. If it's politics, yeah, you can come down. We do a lot of political talking down here tonight. But tonight I have Michael Angley with me from Red Pill News and from Discovery Paranormal, and we're going to be really getting into some news because just so much of it. I mean, I don't know what it is, but every time I turn around, there's just some other shit going on. And it's not, yes, I can curse if I want to. This show's not rated PG. Thank you for that information. Um, as long as I don't use the F word, we're okay. Calm down. Damn. But there's just so much going on. I mean, it's every day. It's, whether it's the war in the Ukraine, crazy stuff going on in Europe. They're trying to impeach Trudeau, saying he lied and did some kind of ethics, got caught and arrested or fined twice for it. I'm like, wow. And then, there's Michael's favorite, Sleepy Joe. It sounds like a sloppy Joe sandwich or something. Maybe Sleepy Joe, like some Southwestern sauce on it or something. I don't even know what to think about this guy anymore. I was not a big Trump supporter. Y'all know that. Neither was Michael. And in the old days when we used to have news on the flip side, I spent 18 months with Stephanie Benetti hating on Trump. Going, oh my God, he cannot be president. He's the big orange clown. I mean, all kind of stuff. And it's not that I hate Trump, because I got to say, now that after he'd been president for 4 years, he did some good things. And with Biden following behind him, I wish he was back. I hate to even admit that out loud, but I do, because come on, people. How much worse is it going to get before even the Democrats are like, what the? So today, to start the news off today, he's in 47 states. That's blue and red and purple states. He is underwater. Only 3 states do they think he's doing a good job. And they wouldn't say what 3 states they were. I guess they wanted to keep him safe. But 47 states now say he's doing a lousy job. His poll ratings amongst independents is 21%. It's only 4% with Republicans. And word has it, with Democrats, it's around 30. So what you think, Mike? Can we get this guy out of here without making Nancy Pelosi the next president?
I think that Pelosi's done. She's gonna be out,
But
she can't take it anymore. And these guys are very old. I mean,
well, they are.
they're way past life expectancy for humans. I mean, think about, they're their decision making, their cognitive abilities, and everything changes. So that's frightening because it's a quick thinking type of job, commander in chief, or vice president or third in command. You know, I tend to feel that not one person in Biden's cabinet knows what they're doing or has any expertise in the field that they're in. They're just political. Give me jobs. Like
Yep.
you have a whole bunch of people that just don't have a clue how to fix anything, and they're looking at each other. It's like they defund the police. They scream defund the police, and they did. And then in those communities where they did, they have crime waves, and they don't know what to do about it. Now they say we need more police. We need more police. So they don't know what to do. Never, 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 and they want to point fingers. They want to never take the blame for anything that they screw up on, and they just point fingers at everybody. It's your fault. It's their fault. That's the reason why, But yet we're in a crisis in the United States, and the world is in a crisis
Crisis.
too.
Just
Different
that
types of
understatement.
crises, but we're in, I think, a crisis in every area. I mean,
Hmm.
Joe, even when we have to rely on Europe for baby food,
I know. I know. I heard that. I was listening to that
that
shit.
what,
Good
what do we
goddamn.
expect? Have a UNICEF delivery? You know what I mean? We're the United States of America. We're most powerful country on the planet. You know, uh, we shouldn't
And
be
we're
thinking
begging for
about that.
baby food. That's
The
that
U.S.
effing
needs to
sad.
be completely independent. We had our Independence
Oh shit!
Day.
I'll be right back.
We need to be 100% independent on fuel, on the baby formula, on everything that we make, the manufacturing. 100%. This way, no country can hold us over the coals and rake us over the coals and extort things from us too. I mean, like look at Russia, look at China. China makes a lot of sophisticated gear for our military. If they decide to cut that, we're going to run out of parts within a year. They say, that's crazy, man. So we're in a tactical disadvantage when it comes to that. But in the end, I think that you know, life is a weird thing, Joe. And the people that are making decisions, they're not making decisions for regular people, for us. They're making decisions for their group, their own group of oligarchs, right? I think that you have a political aristocracy. There are always groups within groups that enjoy that money, and it flows very easily into their bank accounts. So they're corrupt. It's corruption. It's a culture of corruption. And it's been going on and on for year after year, and the rules don't apply to them. The stuff the Democrats scream about, what the
Beastie
Republicans do,
man.
and all this other stuff, they do the same thing, but the rules don't apply. So when you have a situation when there's like a child pedophile in the midst in the Democratic Party, they just brush it under the carpet. You had Epstein, who had all this evidence on Democratic leadership, other people too, CEOs and all that, gone. Where is it? They protect themselves. If they're
Of
part of
course they
Hollywood
protect
too, they
themselves.
protect themselves.
They try to
So,
protect themselves.
but
Every
we're in
every now and
trouble.
then, yeah.
We're in trouble because I don't think we're going to make it through another 2 years of this Joe Biden. I don't
Well,
think he's going to make it. I don't think we're going to make it.
I my problem with Biden is right now we've got Putin who's dying of cancer. In case y'all didn't notice, ladies and gentlemen, they gave Putin 3 years, which means he's got a year and a half. That's pretty much when they tell you cancer, it's usually about half of what they tell you you're going to get. And I think he's probably not even elective to have any more treatment. So he said he'll be blind before the end of the year. So
He's a wounded, cornered
yes,
animal.
he is
That's
a
what he is.
wounded, cornered animal, and he scares the bejesus out of me. Not so much because of what he can do, because he can do a lot. It's just we're not going to have any defense because we got more on Joe in office. I mean, it's at this point it is just sad, pathetic, and I
Have
have
you
no
ever seen a
idea where it's going
president?
to go.
Have you ever seen a president in office in your lifetime where they make statements and right after they say things, his office walks everything
Do
back and
you
undermines what
know
he's done?
how much of a fit Trump would have, or any Obama, Bush, Clinton, anybody would have had that if every other statement he makes, the White House, oh, that's not what he meant. My ass, he's president. That's exactly what he meant. I mean, give
You
me a
can't
freaking break.
undermine
I
the
mean,
president.
you
I mean,
can't, and
you just can't.
it's just I don't know what they're gonna do. It's fucking sad, is what it is, and they're gonna have to do something about it because it's undermining not just the presidency but our complete faith in everything that is Democrat. I mean, all my friends that are Democrat right now are like, This has been the largest amount of people to switch from one party to the other, and I think they said in almost since they freed the slaves. That's how long it's been since there's been this big of a jump from one party to the other. So I don't know what the Democrats are going to do. They're going to have to do something. They should sacrifice somebody like Hillary Clinton. Michael said that. I didn't. He's a ventriloquist.
Hillary, she's frightening right there. But the bottom line is we're in a crisis, and it's a fuel crisis. Everything's costing more. People can't afford things. I mean, people are just keeping their heads above water when it comes down to that. But what's going to happen in the fall, where you have these major components come together, plus shortages? There's grain shortages, there's corn shortages. There's things that are going on that are going to all hit at the same time. Then in the fall, people are going to want to be warm. They're going to turn their heaters back on. Businesses are they going to be able to heat their businesses? Are
So
they going to be able to function? I mean, people
are
can't
they going to be
pay.
able to function? I had to tell some. I told two of my customers today because one of them was asking about doing a remodel job out in another part of the city, and I was like, he's like, what do you think it's going to cost? I said, I don't know. I haven't even gone up on my prices. So he's like, what do you mean? I said, I haven't gone on my prices since 2017. I said, so I'm way behind. I have to go up. I don't have a choice because I'm driving today. I look over, gas is now $4.50 a gallon down here. It's never ever in my entire life ever broke $4 a gallon.
That's cheap down there. That's
and I
cheap.
and I know because we have refineries, and I know our gas is cheaper in most places in the country. A friend of mine in California said he's paying between $6.36 and $7.29. Do you know if we hit November and they just said this the other day in August that the average gas price in the South will be $6 a gallon? That means people in Cali and in New York will be paying 9, 10, 11 bucks. Come on, even the Democrats are going to be like, give me a break, man. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And I think his oh, that's what it was. His job rating amongst Democrats, amongst they did it by levels. The economy, he got 22%. Afghanistan, he got 45% on Afghanistan from the Democrats. I was like, okay, apparently y'all on crack. I mean, it was Trump's idea, but not like that. That cracked me. Immigration, they only gave him 15%, and that's the Democrats. I don't know what he's going to. I mean, he can't even hold his own party, and they're scared that no one is going to show up in November.
I feel like he doesn't even know what day it is.
Yeah.
I
I think
really,
I
I
think
really
I
believe
think
that.
some days I think he does. Some days he seems kind of sharp when he gets his shot. I think those days he's pretty
Well,
sharp.
that's dementia, though. I mean, they in, the
Well,
out.
that is dementia.
They're in,
That's
they're
true.
out.
And
So
he does have, what do they call it? Phasia. I heard a doctor talking about it today. I think that's what he called it. Phasia. I might not be saying it right, guys. You might check the actual word, but it's phasia or something like that. They said that's what he's got. And why he won't take a cognitive exam, nobody understands because Trump did. Everybody wanted until Trump did. Now this guy looks far stupider than Trump does, and we don't want him to do it. No, of course we do. I would like, but I'm scared because I don't want Kamala Harris to be president while Putin's rampaging in war. And if she gets kicked out, Nancy's in. I mean, it's like
yeah.
bad, worse, and horrible.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm scared Nancy. Nancy might go start World War III. What the hell does she care? She only got 5, 6 years left on the planet herself. She's between her and Putin, they might wipe the whole damn place out. That might be the second coming, people. Jeez, I'm Pete. I'm moving to Mars. Elon, where you at, Elon, buddy? Come on, man. I want to go to Mars with you. Come on, dude. Give me a ride. Give me a ride, man.
Well, you know that November is going to be a big red wave, and
Oh,
that'll
yeah.
offset a lot of this nonsense. But you still have Joe Biden as president, and he's
Which
a
he can veto a
travesty.
lot of stuff. I mean, they can come back and put it back through again and force it down his throat, but it takes 2, 3 years sometimes.
Well, as long
And
as they have a majority, I mean,
yeah, and
a
they'll have
real,
the
a
majority
real,
for a
a
while.
real
I,
majority.
even the best financial person the Democrats came up with today, when he came out and he said, "Look, I'm not going to lie to y'all. The very best you can hope for is 2 to 3 years before we start to see a real turnaround." And he said it's going to get worse before it gets better. I could not believe I heard that coming out of a Democrat's mouth. I was just stunned because everybody else, independents, libertarians, conservatives, they're all saying the same thing. Centralists, oh yeah, we're in deep shit. But these people are not. Yes, but they're cursing. Okay, I'll try not to curse. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm sure your children have heard that word before, but I'm not gonna. I'm not. I'm just gonna leave that alone. Yes, I am. Wait, who?
But
No,
I
we'll talk
think
about that
that
later.
I think that your average person out there is not a dimwit. They can see what's going on, even if they had believed the Democrats' lie when Trump was in there, all the stuff that they said and did and how they acted. Now you can really see the truth of it. If you can't, those people are really rooted in ignorance. I hate to say,
Oh
because
yeah, yeah.
these people are very transparent. That they're out of control. They don't know what they're doing. Most of them have just the mentality of a 12-year-old, as far as I see. They really don't have a head for planning, and basically, it's like having a ship with the captain being some dimwit, and they don't know what they're doing. And that's the whole crew doesn't know what they're doing, as a matter of fact, and you can't have that. You need talented people in these cabinets. You need talented people in the White House that know what they're doing. The advisors need to be understanding of that. But when I see Biden, I see someone who's struggling mentally, physically. And I just see him for a few minutes, like you do. He's on there with speech. Imagine the other times of day that we don't see him.
Well, yeah.
How
Well,
bad
just
all
think of
the
the people
people.
in the White House that I got to deal with him every day.
But these
And,
people are willing to risk our
to,
lives, risk us as victims. These extreme liberals, they're in control with these judge positions in New York City. The DA is letting criminals go, and then when they let them go, they kill people. They're
yeah,
smashing
we do.
windows,
We got the
smashing
same
grab.
problem
They
down here.
just robbed a church of a $2 million item. So there's no shut off valve. You have a mayor in New York City. He's full of crap. He's not even saying anything anymore. If you notice, I think he just doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and maybe he thought he was going to know, and it was good intentions, and I supported him for a minute there. But when he went to Beverly Hills for that fundraiser, that big
Now
Democratic
you know he
fundraiser,
had to go.
hung out with Dave Chappelle and all these other guys, these high end people. He had his little coat on, this against the gun violence. Did that. When I saw that, I knew that he wasn't a serious person. I know that he is just enjoying the ride. But that ride has to do with a lot of blood. Blood. The blood is greasing the wheels for that ride of New York City, because honest people are becoming victims and they don't care. They're going to protect the criminals. They've been protecting the criminals, not the victims. So, and then all the stuff they say about black neighborhoods, like we love black people, black people. They rule over those neighborhoods. They never do anything for anybody. And those criminals they're letting go
And
back
you
to
know
their
what?
same
That's
old
what's
neighborhood.
helping. But that's one of the things that's helping both Trump and the Republicans is one. I remember Trump it was I don't know, about 6 years ago, right before he got elected, and he was talking to some Democrat, and he said, "Well, let me ask you something." He said, "You're black and you're a Democrat. What have the Democrats done for y'all in the last 30 or 40 years? Can you tell me?" And the dude was like, and it was really embarrassing because he couldn't come up with anything. So
Yeah.
he was at a rally and a BLM rally. Well, their BLM rally was actually at one of his rallies. That's how it actually worked out there out front. And when he was leaving, he asked him, he said, "Well, I want to know what the Democrats have done for you. Have they helped you get better jobs?" And he went on and on and on and on. And of course, they didn't do any of that. But by the time he had left president, blacks had the lowest unemployment rate in the history of our country. So did Hispanics. So did whites, for that matter. I mean, the dude was rocking. Gas down here was $1 a gallon.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I'm gonna be paying almost four times, and everything else it was cheap. And now here we are. So whether Trump was flamboyant or not, which he was, but we're not going to get into that. But the proof is in the pudding now. And now that we've got something we had Obama to compare him to, which was a disaster, and he looked way better. But now we got Biden, and the dude looks like a king, man. And everybody's, he's not going to get reelected. I said, I will put money if he runs, he will get reelected. And I think that's been the Republicans' plan. 4 years for him, 8 years for Santos. They get to control the country for 12 years. And maybe if everyone's really, 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 really lucky, we might survive this. Maybe. And
I
that's a
hope
big
we
effing
can get.
maybe.
I hope we can get to the point of another presidential election without society completely falling apart. Because
Yeah, you're
when
right
it
about
comes
that.
to when it comes to food shortages, people
Jesus.
won't tolerate it, and they'll attack each other. Man, it's not going to be like attacking the politicians. They're going to just take what they can for themselves. You deny any society three days worth of meals, you're going to have anarchy. and we're starting to see this in a lot of different places now. So you
Mhm.
have grain problems. I just watched the whole thing about the Midwest and how in 10 years they're not really going to be able to grow corn anymore because of the climate, because of things going on, and the dryness, and the shift in nature. So we rely on that stuff, for
We do.
feed, for for our animals. We rely on it for ourselves. I mean, it goes on and on, but and then the population of the world is growing at the same time, so there's bigger demands for food and clean water, other types of things. So man, it's coming to a head. There'll be a tipping
It
point,
is.
of course. There'll
There
be a
is,
tipping
and there'll be a tipping point unless there's enough of us up there bailing the other way that we might keep from hitting the tipping point. But right now we're sinking. We're three-quarters down, and no one's bailing. That's the real problem. If we had people out there bailing the water out of the ship right now, we'd be okay. But we don't have that. We're kind of
No, they
the
have no
Republicans
idea.
aren't doing anything. I mean, it's not that they can really do anything right now, but they could try a little harder. But
They're sitting back
they're
watching because they
yeah
want the Democrats.
they're actually enjoying watching this
Right.
ship
They
sink
want the
because they're going to
Democrats
look
to
like heroes.
implode,
Yeah,
which is
when
what
they
they do. But
yeah
when they, it doesn't matter. People are suffering. You know what I mean?
that's
So
the truth.
just like Nancy Pelosi, remember when she didn't want to put those payments out for the COVID payments while Trump was still in there to help people out. That second payment, they held that back. They held that money back on families that needed it just because she didn't want him to get the credit. She wanted the election to happen first, so people suffered that summer, all the way into that fall. This is the government. This is these people. They don't care. They have plenty for themselves. They're not struggling. They're not worried about paying their light bill. They're not worried about buying clothes for their kids, or looking for baby formula. Think Nancy Pelosi's looking for baby formula? Of course not. They have everything that they want and need, and they're like royals, right? They act like it. That's what they are, in essence. But they're not representatives, not by any
Mhm.
stretch of the imagination.
They're not. That we need a lot of things. One, we need term limitations, and I'm all for giving them both the House and the Senate 12 years each. That's 24 years if you win in both.
Mm.
So 2 terms as a senator, that's 12 years. That's a long time,
We'll never have
and
it as long as they're in charge and they
and
make their
six
own
years.
rules.
But you see, Americans forget this. We can force the vote. We had the power. If we really want to, if we got organized as a country, we can force the vote. We can put it on a ballot, like for the presidential election year. We could actually vote on pay. We could actually take pay raises away from them, and only give them pay raises based on the per capita income of their state, and only when it increases in that state. They don't should never get a raise when we're not making money. They should only get a raise when we're making more money. That's the way it should be. And we the people, but we give up that power. We don't want to do that because they keep us so polarized. You can't get the two sides to work on anything together. You used to be able to. When I was young, it wasn't unheard of for the two people to get together and work, the Republicans and Democrats, to get something accomplished for the country. But now they're just way too polarized. So one's got to get complete control before anything happens. And usually the other one just takes it all away when they come in. I mean, Trump wiped out all kind of Obama stuff. Uh, and then when Biden came in, he wiped out all kind of Trump stuff. It's like we're going backwards every time we get a new president, or halfway backwards is what I should say. Because I didn't realize it. A friend of mine pointed out to me, Biden did keep quite a lot of Trump's policies in place. So I was kind of surprised by that when I found out how many he actually kept in place. And he's actually taking heat for it, but I guess they're working. So I think he realized that certain things like making us independent on Middle Eastern oil was stupid. Even Trudeau thinks it was stupid. People, and that's the most crooked sucker on the planet. Well, next to Nancy and Schumer and McDonald, McCall, whatever his name is.
Under Trump, we were energy independent. We actually got
Too.
to the point where they lifted the rule that we weren't allowed to sell energy to other countries, especially oil and natural gas. And they lifted that rule, so people started making profit
Yes,
out of
because
it.
our surpluses were so flush, we were adding new surpluses.
Yep.
We were actually, people, in case y'all didn't know this, we were taking oil and pumping it into wells in Texas because we had so much of it coming out of the ground,
There's a
just to
company
make it
trying to get a
fair.
permit to
Yeah.
drill off the coast of Texas. They found a 200-year supply of crude oil, right? So, but when Obama was in there, he put the kibosh on there and signed a thing where nobody would be allowed to drill there or up in Alaska, So, I mean, they are moving. The Democrats want to move towards this green energy, but it's a pipe dream. It's not something that
Well,
can come
okay.
to fruition right now.
But
It's
let's
something that
let's
the technologies aren't perfected. So when there's a big demand for power, the demand relies on crude oil.
yeah,
But now
and that's the point.
they're killing people. When people are going to have to pay $1,000 a month to heat their homes this winter, they're not going to be able to. They're not going to
Yeah,
be able to.
and that's what's going to happen. But and that's the point. I don't know why American don't take this personally, but y'all are dumbasses. I hear people all the time, green energy, green energy. I said, okay, I broke it down for a friend of mine that he's still floored by it. I said, so if you get a Tesla, and by the way, I love Elon Musk. I'm a huge supporter of Elon, and we're going to talk about him later in the show. If you go to Tesla, just a lithium battery alone's carbon footprint is 3 times what my Camry's carbon footprint is. And we're talking in a lifetime of use. Just a lithium battery. First, the lithium has to be strip mined in Afghanistan. Then it's got to be piled on a
But
tanker and
not
shipped to
not just
Japan.
there. That
Well,
that
no, they do it at
cobalt.
other places. Yeah, but
Yeah, but they use children to do it. You see ever
well,
see
not
those
not the lithium.
exposés
They're
about those
using
mines?
yeah, but the lithium's just using big construction equipment because you can't really use anything else to get it
I'm
out.
talking about the people who mine it.
Oh yeah,
They're
well, in
children.
different
A lot of
places.
them
Yeah.
children. They die down there, man.
That's part of living in not in our country, I guess. But I mean, so you got all of this going around. So you have people dying from all this stuff, and lithium's a nasty thing to start off with. It's not like it's clean energy. When you got to dispose of this battery, they're nasty. It's people educate yourself on what you're actually driving. Now, yes, electric engines are clean. They work over windings. I mean, it's mostly copper. Well, it's more than copper, but still there's a lot of copper in there. Let's put it like that. But still, I mean, in order to have this, you have to power it with something. Oh, it's electrical. Okay, yeah. Well, where are you getting electricity from? Oh, you're plugging it into something that's working on either cold, nuclear, or natural gas. You're still polluting the planet. And you're doing it even more. Because on an electric car, see my car, I fill up my car right now. It costs me about $60 to fill it up. It will go about 500 miles. Okay. And then when I run out of gas, I can stop and fill it up and it'll go another 500. I can, drive my car 24 hours if I want to. You're not doing that with a Tesla, my friends. After about 4 or 5 hours, well, we better stop for a while, have dinner, go shopping, come back, and your Tesla might be charged in 2 or 3 hours.
And it costs money to charge a
And it
car.
costs it
It's
costs
not
money.
free. People think
And
it's free,
and
and it's not
and
free.
somewhere that electricity is coming from either natural gas, cold, or nuclear. So you're not helping the planet. I don't. It just doesn't make any sense to me when people don't take the time to educate us. By the way, I'm pro electric, and one day when we can have when the highways when we put highways down, they're solar highways because that's an invention that they're working on right now. They've got them out there, but they don't produce electricity they're wanting them to. But if you do this, if every highway on this planet was made out of a material that you could drive on that also picked up electricity from the sun, not only would it run every car on the planet, it would run several major cities for lifetimes. So there's lots of ways to do this. But we're not there yet. Maybe in a
No,
hundred
they're
years,
going to
but
go
right
by
now we're not.
the greedy
So
way.
why do you want to punish everybody on the planet? Because Americans have more money than most people do anyway. But you're not thinking about other countries out there that are going to have to pay these exorbitant gas prices. They can't.
So
Their countries might not even buy the fuel. You have to buy
right
the
now,
moped.
oil companies are making record profits
Yeah, it's
more
a
than they've
moped.
ever made, and governments are also reaping the reward for the taxes on gas. New York just laid off the tax. It's almost $1 a gallon. New York is like 69 cents. Then you got federal. Then you got
Yeah,
local. So they're
most
laying
places
off.
is
They're
about a
they're
dollar.
going to give people a break and lay off a bit of that. So they're going to do that
Thank you,
until
baby.
December 31st is what they said. They're planning for the long haul. But Biden said, God willing, the prices will go down. I mean, he's the
God, really, he's
commander in
president.
chief.
Make the damn prices go down. I mean,
He's
come
the
on.
president, and he's
Wait,
relying
wait.
on
So
God.
I got a question. I got a question. If anybody's listening that's in the federal government, I got to ask y'all a question. You ever heard of a thing called the strategic reserve? Okay, right now it's like twice the size that it used to be. So give us some of it. Give us some. Get us down to $3 a gallon. Give us a break. I mean, come on. You better do something before midterm because if you don't, it's adios amigos. You may. I mean, I may have never seen a switch this big that's coming this November. Everybody,
You know what the thing
all of my
is?
Democratic friends said they're either sitting out or voting Republican. And when you got Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and what's his name? What's the other one? Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and not Bill Gates. Who the hell is he? Damn it. There's three of them. Oh, Bill Maher saying they might vote Republican. You got problems. Anytime you hear Bill Maher, Jeff Bezos say they're voting Republican, you got
I
the bigger
wouldn't I wouldn't
problems,
put
man.
Bill Maher in the same billionaire category.
Well,
You
no,
know
but
what
I
I
mean,
mean?
he's as famous, though, is what I meant. I mean, he's as
Uh,
famous as the other two. He ain't got the money they got, but that is true. Jeff Bezos and Elon are like the two richest people on the planet. Um, but to hear them say that they didn't change, the party changed, that says a lot. And it should
this
help Democrats that are struggling with this right now to realize your party has just went over the
this
edge,
is
man.
this is the deal. The Department of Defense has a primary interest in the national security of this country. These high energy prices is a matter of national security. It is derailing our economy and it is destroying people. We need to have in these times, time of war, strife, or any kind of weird reason the prices would spike because of fear and loathing in the market. Keep in mind there's plenty of oil out there. There's reserves out there. They don't even have any space out there to keep any more oil. That's how much oil there is out there. It's all about the futures market and what these people on Wall Street think what the future is going to do with the supply and this and that. And you only have to tell them a little bit of negative information, so the price will go sky high. We need to have an energy cap. We need to have a financial cap. Instead of giving billions to these other countries, we need to invest. That's our own money, by the way. Invest our own money and keep the prices at an acceptable level so people can go to work, people can heat their businesses, people can use that energy for what they need, and also so the truck drivers don't get raked over the coals and then make
And they
all
are
these
right
items
now.
cost more. And once prices, Joe, once prices go up, they don't really go down. You might see a small reduction, but once prices go up, they go up.
And they
And these
barely come back down. I mean,
but these companies see, oh well, these people are willing to pay it, so let's keep the prices high. These corporations that make our food, that do these things, they're not our friends. They're greedy people who don't care about you or me. They just care about the
and it
green
used to
in
not.
our
It used to,
wallet.
and it used to not be like that. When I was growing up, the companies weren't like that. They wanted to help you out. They were always giving you free stuff, helping you to get more free stuff. Keeping the prices as low as they could because now it used to be they used to compete to keep their prices low. Now it's to compete to keep your prices high.
Well, the
So
baby formula, right? But Biden says he knew in the middle of April about the baby formula. Right, he was just informed. The little redhead there, his spokesperson said they knew about it for months and months. Months ago.
well,
So
that you can say thank you, Buddha Butt. That's partly his problem because he's the who. What's he do? He's the
yeah,
guy who does what? Transportation expert, the guy who wants to be your next president.
oh
He's as
yeah,
big as idiot as Biden is. So when y'all get aggravated about transportation in our country, and I'm talking about trucking and everything, he's responsible for all of this. And it was great before he came in. And all of a sudden, it's like we don't even pick the people for the job. Hey, I mean, how you doing? We don't even pick the right people for the job anymore. Now it's based on your sex and your skin color to get a job. I'm confused. I mean, they picked the girl to place Jean because she got the job because she's a woman. They said that. They were upfront about it. And then the girl, whatever she was that replaced him, she had to be black and she had to be transgender. I'm confused, but that's okay. So, but what were their qualifications? And then okay, new Supreme Court. Well, she's got to be a black woman. Oh, what was her qualifications? Was there nobody better than her for the job? So we've lost it. I mean, that's technically racism or
yep.
sexism, whatever you want to call it. It's both. And so now we're going backwards, and this is just going to end up in a big fight down the line. So
An
somewhere
old
along the
wise
line, we've
black
got to
man
change this.
an old wise black man Far Rockaway once told me this. He's like, Michael, there's two types of racism. Doing something for someone because of their color and not doing something for someone because of their color. So, I mean, when people get pushed forward because of their color, gender, whatever, it's not on merit. It's has something else to do, and like affirmative action did that for a very long time, but people had to get ahead. But who were the ones that kept people back to begin with? What was the Jim Crow laws? Think about the KKK. Who
Yeah.
was the party that crafted all of these things in the past? It was a Democratic Party that supported all of that. Then they're the ones in control of these horrible ghettos, and things never change. AOC is represents Queens, much of Queens, and also parts of the Bronx. This is where there's a lot of poverty and strife. She's done nothing for the people there. The only thing that she
She
did was to
cares about the
keep
people.
Amazon out.
She
They
was
were
a
going to build that.
barfly. She reminds me when I was young. Used to go party all the time. She reminds me of little girls, little barflies that used to hang out or bartend, looking either for a
Yep.
husband or a way out.
Yeah, she's a
Which
bartender.
I'm not hating on y'all, but I mean, no, it's not just bartenders. 'Cause I got a lot of
I
friends
bet
that were
she wasn't even a
bartenders.
good bartender. I bet she
No,
got
she
by
probably wasn't.
on her looks and that they kind of put her in there, serve people a beer, and that's pretty much it. But then here she is in this powerful role, but she's backed by billionaires, and they chose her out of 10,000 people. They wanted something who was going to appeal to people because of their looks, because of their gender, because of I mean, like, even their status. I mean, everything about them that they needed a salesperson, man. It's a salesperson, right? And they
Yeah,
got that.
basically,
But
yeah.
come on, the woman wanted to build a train to England. You know what I mean? She. I don't even know where to start with the whole Green New Deal, but it's unrealistic. They can't make it work. We don't have the technology to make these things work.
Well, Amelia reminded me when she popped in about Trudeau again. Trudeau, they're coming for
Yeah,
you,
we're talking
baby.
about this too
Yes.
much, man. Let's get on to Trudeau's little pink short
Well,
wearing
no,
ass.
no. I mean, no. I just because she reminded me, we seen it because we mentioned it at the beginning of the show. Trudeau's always under investigation for something, but now they got him caught on two things, and it seems like they're going after him. It always amazes me though when I talk to my Canadian friends, which there's six on this network alone, and I have a few more besides that out there, and scattered all across Canada. They never see the same news we do about their country. But it's funny because honestly, we do not see the same news that they see about our country. Especially like if I'm watching British news, oh my God, they're talking about stuff that our media should be talking about, but they're not. And it's to me, it's scary when I turn on. I got this one thing on my television that it's actually on Roku. It's like 28 countries on it, 30 countries, and you go through all of them, and they got all these different stories. And there's a lot of the same stories, but then there's a lot of different stuff because it's different countries. And when you see them theme out, oh my God, what happened to America? We're in shit. That's the only way I can say it. And then when you hear Trudeau setting up a ministry in case the U.S. collapses to protect ourselves, all right, people, I don't even know what to tell you. I'm 59 years. I've never seen that in my whole life, ever, ever. I've never even seen the world think America could possibly be that weak. And world, and I know a lot of y'all are listening tonight, we're not. So be careful here. Y'all thought that under Clinton, because at the end of Clinton's regime, all that stuff was going on and everybody was fighting, and y'all thought, oh no. And then you thought that under Bush too. Don't make that
It's
mistake.
funny. People had this idea that Canada was so free, and then if things went sour here in America, you go to
I
Canada and
feel
be
for the
free.
Canadians,
It's the
man.
opposite in Canada. They're not free. They're red. It's a red.
Yes.
They're not red in a good way either. They're communist
Plus,
red.
there's a little,
So I mean, look
yeah,
at this headline. Trudeau's
they're a
government
communist red
has
guy.
adopted dozens of Trudeau government has adopted dozens of secret cabinet orders since coming to power, and 72, as a matter of fact, secret orders hidden from Parliament and Canadians. So I mean, does that sound like a guy who's there for the people? you know uh so I mean, and this is all coming out, but he's also had those ties to those construction companies, where they got the deal and then he got the kickback. So he's a corrupt politician, just like a whole bunch of others, but he hides under the guise of, I'm here for the people, here for the people, but he's not.
Now, most of these people are not here for the people. It's
No.
Trudeau scares me because he's just a weirdo, man. You know what he reminds me of? One of them bohemian people who are into pedophilia. He does. He worries me. I'm worried one day they're going to hear him. Him and the Pope's going to be hanging out with five little children or something. It's he's just got that look about him. I don't know,
I don't
but you
trust him in
but you
terms
know
of
what?
China,
That might be
China
why
and
him
Russia
and
too.
Biden that might be why him and Biden are all cozy. They might share that weirdness together.
I
Uh,
want let's talk serious, Joe. I mean, I really want
I
to
am serious.
understand like this guy's mentality because it's our border, and it's also an unprotected border. And his dealings with the Chinese and his dealings with Russia, it's a scary thing, especially since he's very weak. But when he's
Mm.
got his shadow government and he's operating away from the knowledge of Canadian people in Parliament, that's something that has to stop. You know,
Yeah, well,
it's just,
Trump put a big damper in that. Trump put a really big damper in that. I don't know what my Uncle Cracker's doing, but Trump put a big damper in it. When Trump found out that they were letting in 5,000 Chinese troops coming over there and train, or 10,000, Trump flipped out. He was like, no, 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 because in the beginning they were going to let them bring their equipment over, and Trump said we would consider that an act of war. So all the Canadians could do was allow them to bring them over and use Canadian equipment, which they couldn't only use Canadian equipment, couldn't use anything that was American. And I don't know if Biden changed that stance or not, but bringing for China to bring their equipment to Canada we would consider an act of war. It's part of the America's treaty. In case you haven't noticed, ladies and gentlemen, there's a treaty that all the American, all with exception like Venezuela and Cuba, didn't sign. I know Brazilians part of it. It's just the America's treaty. We have a treaty that kind of dictates how the Americas actually work. That's why there's not a bunch of communist countries over here. It's just a thing. Technically, it's like one big country. People get confused because, I say all the time, well, Canadians are Americans. Oh no, Canadians. No, they're Americans. They're North Americans. They're Americans, just like
it's funny.
Mexicans are
Yeah, he's
Americans
gonna
and Brazilians are Americans, and everybody else that lives on these three continents are Americans.
he's going to visit
I agree. I mean, no
NORAD.
one should trust that bastard.
It's kind of weird.
Um, he is. He is. I don't know. He scares me. He worries me. Thank God he ain't got no nukes to play with. And since Trump kind of put the kibosh on him, I don't know where it's going with the Chinese thing. They kind of not want to talk about it because it was kind of an embarrassment for both countries. They basically got caught with their hands in the cookie jar, and God knows what they were giving Trudeau for that. I mean, that must have
It's
been
funny
tons of
because
money.
while we know a lot of Canadian people and love them to death, they're not aggressive people at all. They've been beaten into submission over the years.
I
They're
wouldn't say
not
beat into
aggressive
submission.
like
That's kind
you know,
of harsh, man.
these
Uh,
politicians. It's true though. These politicians like in America, they understand how Americans, you know, have how one we have hundreds of millions of guns in our public, which has kept other countries throughout the years saying we can't invade America, we'll be killed. Everybody's got a gun, and this is a self defense, common knowledge, national security type of thing too. Like hey, you don't mess with a country where the citizens are armed, like in Norway. In Norway, they not only arm the citizens, teach them how to use these rifles. These families keep the rifles for generations and even pass them down. They're proud of what they are. They're civil defense, But I mean, we have a terrible situation if we can't. I mean, we can rely more on the Mexican government than the Canadian government. How crazy is that? Of ally wise. I don't trust the Canadian government. I don't trust what they do. And it's not like the Canadian people would ever rise up and put a stop to this. They're just going to sit back and watch what's going on, and they have all different types of opinions. But also, the population up there isn't all that much. I think it's very limited, man. But I wouldn't trust Trudeau not for anything. And
well,
he's
I know
already
the
proved
Chinese.
himself to be a criminal, hasn't he? He's a
Well,
criminal.
they have, and I know the Canadians weren't happy with him bringing Chinese troops into their country. I mean, they are a small country. We're 38 million, 36 million, or something. I mean, Chinese get 4 or 5 battalions over there. They could be in trouble. I mean, they're not a fighting. That's not what they do. They rely on us to do that, just like a
Right.
lot of the European countries do. Which is okay. I mean, America for the most part don't mind because we like blowing shit up, but we don't want to blow anything of our neighbors up. We'd rather not have to.
They want to ban guns in Canada. That's great. I don't want people to shoot themselves up there. You know what I mean? so
Yeah.
that's fine. Whenever. I'm part of a couple different gun clubs, and I like to target shoot. I'm not a hunter, but I like to target shoot. But we have NRA events, and the NRA come to town. They set up their thing. They want people to sign up. But the one thing that stands out about the NRA and also the gun clubs is that you have to know how to use the gun. You have to be checked out, trained, taught how to use it and clean it and do all that before you can even take your first shot. So all these people who are protesting against the NRA because of these mass shootings, not one of these mass shooters was part of the NRA, as far as I know.
Well,
That's for sure.
they probably aren't, and they probably aren't. And a lot of mass shooters are not conservatives or Republicans. So, like the guy who shot up all the Republicans in D.C. That's a Democrat. The one who
I
shot
have
up all the
friends who
people.
are I have friends who are Democrats that are bigger gun nuts than most of the people that I know. They love their guns, so it's not even a thing. They don't want to lose their guns, because of a couple people that are, that
Yeah.
are off the wall. These people are mentally ill, man. It's a mental illness
So,
that they have.
but
Those
I got a
predators.
thing about guns, and it always cracks me up when people start telling me about guns. So the other day, I'm talking to a group of friends, a couple good liberal friends in there. Oh no, Joe, you're wrong. Guns kill people. I said, no, you dumbass. Guns don't kill anybody. People kill people. I said the certain guy who shot you with a gun could run over your car, stab you to death. If he wants to kill you, it's not going to matter. He's going to kill you. And I said, while we're on this subject, think about it like this: cars kill about twice as many people as guns do. They maim 10 times as many people as guns do. I said, so why aren't we banning cars? I said, plus let's not forget cars are helping kill the planet. I said, so they kill more people, maim more people, and they're causing harm to the planet. But oh no, we don't want to ban cars. I mean, come on, Joe, are you crazy? No, I mean you're complaining about guns, which aren't doing near the damage as the cars are. And don't think people there's not accidents that are on purpose. There are lots of them. First, we just know from credit card. I mean, not credit card, from credit fraud and insurance fraud. There's tons of them. And then there's just people who get angry, like the lady who backed over her husband in the driveway, or the lady who put her two kids in a car and shot it into a lake. I mean, really, it's not like an innocent thing. And we're going to try to act like it is. Plus, we got to have a gas station in every corner in the United States or in the world for that matter. So, really, I mean, if you're going to talk about what's causing harm, and for that matter, let's ban cancer
I mean,
or
they got
high
38
or high
million
blood pressure,
people.
which means all the good food's got to be banned.
They have
I mean,
38
really,
million in
sometimes.
Canada. 38.1.
Yeah.
California's got 39.35, and California went way
Yeah.
down.
But that's going to change. California's going to drop. California's going to be like 37,
There's already an
36. Texas
exodus.
might even pass it.
California prices are crazy. Their gas prices are crazy. Highest in the nation. People can't afford to live. They're leaving.
It's funny. I was telling my friend last time I was in Austin how expensive it was. Well, he just moved there from California. He's like, Joe, man, you got to be shitting me, man. It's like half the price is this in Cali. I said, but it's twice the price where I live. He's like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, no. I said, dude, it's cheap in the South to live. I said, because we're not greedy pigs, man. And we grow our own food and have our own beef and our own fuel. I said, we're pretty self sufficient down here. It makes it easier. I said, all you people who live in places where there's 50, 60 million people, of course you can't be self sufficient because there's no way to be. Then took all the land up. You got to find food from somewhere else. Get your food from the Virginias, man. There you go. Eat some pine nuts. There you go. That'll work. I don't know, guys. All I can tell you is you live in Canada. Y'all are in the same boat we are. We both got morons for leaders. I mean, that's as politely as I can say it. What do you mean? You're talking about what's his name? Johnson? Is that his name? Boris Johnson? Is that his name? Yeah, they think they're getting rid of him. I don't know. I don't think they're going to.
Bojo.
He's like a
I think
yeah. He's like
Bojo's
a
the only one
cockroach.
that I think that Bojo's the only one that knows what the hell he's talking about right now. There's these other leaders. I wouldn't trust any of them. I wouldn't trust Macron. He's weak. He's weaker than baby poop, man.
Oh
You
yeah,
know. So you need strong
you're
leadership.
right about
Germany's
that,
kind of
Amelia.
stepping up with some strong leadership. They have strong words for this situation in the Ukraine. Now we are giving those missiles, the artillery rockets
Yes,
to
because
to,
that's
to
typical
Ukraine.
Biden. Oh no, we're not going to give them to him. Well, first no, first we're giving them to him. Oh no, we can't do
First we
that.
were, then we weren't, then we
Then we
were,
weren't,
then
and
we
now we
weren't.
are.
Now we are.
Now we are for
So
the
figure
fifth
that
time.
out. That all
Yeah,
happened within a few days.
because he told them, or somebody told them, as long as you don't shoot them in the Russian territory, it's okay. So now you just gave the Russians a thing. If they shoot them in the Russian territory, does that allow them to retaliate against us? Because they wouldn't be able to do it if we didn't give them to them. So I'd be a little pissed. I might go blow up one of our bases for that reason. And then what are we going to say? Or they're going to say, well, you gave them the weapons, so we're just getting rid of the weapons. Where the weapons might be stored in Poland or Germany or wherever. That's what Germany's scared of. The new prime minister said that sending weapons from here might give Russia the idea that wherever the warehouses are, they could attack them. Like they could even get that far into territory. NATO
Well,
would flip out because Germany's like in the middle of the territory. You'd have to fly across a lot of countries to get to Germany. I'm just thinking the Russians' planes are not that stealthy, guys. It's not going to happen. Um,
man, it you can't say here's a weapon but don't use it. If things happen, they happen. I'm not one that believes if a country's at war with another country, everything is fair game in that country, no matter what. And for America to say, well, here are the rules. Here's the rules of engagement. So Russia has no rules. They're gonna do what they want to do. But yet we're giving the Ukraine this equipment. They have rules or whatever, man. You know what I mean? You want them to be successful and have an advantage. The rockets, so it will give them an advantage, over the Russian artillery. The big general, that one that they put on there a few weeks ago, the one that fought in Syria, he's gone. They don't even know where he is. He's fired. So whatever that means, whether maybe Putin
mm-hmm.
fired him out of a cannon or shot him, but he's gone. He also fired 5 other generals this week. So it's not working out for them. And now we're giving them 9 drones, and the drones carry Hellfire missiles, which are very interesting little bits. And the drones can fly a long time, over 30 hours, and it's going to help them with their intelligence and that type of stuff. So I think the Ukrainians have done an interesting job. I mean, with handheld and shoulder-fired rocket. I just actually, me personally, I can't believe how many tanks have been completely destroyed, especially in the beginning when Putin was floating these tanks. Remember the videos when they were amassing on the border, the tanks going
Yeah.
through the mud and doing all this stuff, and they were like bragging how powerful they are. And now they're just on the road like junk. They just junk. And when they send trains of more tanks down there, these guys have shoulder rockets, there's javelins. They blow up the train. They blow up all the tanks on the train. They're like sitting ducks. And you think, like, why are they doing this? Like, why is this really the Russian strategy of just be these bumbling people? And the Wagner group, the Wagner lost one of their big generals last week in an airplane. They shot him down with a Stinger. And this is Putin's private army, man. This is his best of the best. If we compare our own troops to that, we look at Navy SEALs or special forces, right? So they just took out a large group of Wagner, which was a whole bunch of mercenaries. And the other troops, the Russian troops, are seeing this. The guys who have no ability, no nothing, they're in a uniform with a gun in their hand, and they're seeing these high elite troops being taken out, and they're leaving. They're getting out of there. Their girlfriends, mothers, and wives are telling them to come home. So it's going to bust. At some point, it's going to bust. When it busts, it's up to Putin what happens. He's not going to back out. You know.
Yeah, I'm just hoping his kids convince him and not nuking the planet. It's what is this? Who sent me this? Wait. The nation of Turkey has had it with being associated with a large bird that is best known for a symbol of North Americans' Thanksgiving. Oh, Turkey's changing its name? Get the
Turkeys
out of here,
are
man.
delicious. They are
Uh,
delicious.
their countries is rebranding to Turkiye. Okay, I'm not even going to try to say that. It says Turkiya. That's how they got it broke up. Turkiya. Okay, I'm leaving that
I don't
alone.
know where you're hearing
Turkiya.
that. I haven't heard that yet.
It's on CNN's World News.
Yeah, I don't go
It's
for CNN.
I got them all over. I got Fox, I got CNN, I got MSN, I got Yahoo News, and I got MSNBC's news. I always keep them open when we're doing news shows. Because wait, you know what? I'm glad you said that. Because just now, where was it? Was it over here? There's a breaking story coming in. Hold on, where did it go? I just seen developing. There it is. Stabbing attack. 2 nurses and a doctor wounded at Los Angeles hospital. Suspect is still inside.
Yep.
This is developing. This is live right now, people. So there you go, gunners. Didn't even bring a gun, just a knife.
Every day there's something. Knives, cars, trucks, guns.
But that's what I'm saying. You
But,
think you can take guns away and that's going to stop people from murdering people? It's not. People get angry. You got to take. Let me ask y'all something. Why is there so many more school shootings on the Democrats than the Republicans? And don't have to take my word for it. Look it up. You can just look up school shootings and mass shootings, and you will find that for some reason or another, there are far more under Democrats than they are under Republicans. Under
Because
Trump, there
I'll
was
tell you why.
virtually none.
I'll tell you why. Because over the years, especially the last 15, 16 years, they have put a message out there to people, especially these mentally ill people, that if you're offended, or if someone doesn't share the same ideas as you, the same view as you, if you have suffered in any type of way, it's okay for you to attack. It's okay for you to strike back. And these people who are mentally ill take it to a higher level. But in Texas, the gun wasn't the problem. The police were the problem.
Yeah,
Because when
no.
that guy, first of all, the guy should have never been allowed to even enter the school. He was being pursued by the police. They saw him with the gun. They could have taken him out. It was that cop who told the 19 cops out in the hallway when the guy barricaded himself in the room and was shooting those kids one at a time. It was that guy who said, "Do not engage. Don't engage." They made him a city council person a couple days later because he had been voted in. They signed him in. That's the leader of that community, and he failed. They should have engaged immediately. The Texas code of conduct when it comes to an active shooter is if they start shooting, you engage immediately. If it's not a hostage
Yeah, that's
situation,
what it is.
if
That's
they start
almost every state in the union.
you breach the
It's
door, then the guy's automatically going to start firing at the police. One lieutenant's like, "Well, I didn't want to get my men killed." That's what you're dealing with in Texas, folks, which is a disgrace. A disgrace. You know who would do that? The sheriff department in New York. I've seen a lot of unprofessional, and I know there's good people in there. I'm not going to knock them and make a broad statement, but like when it comes to state troopers, they actually are very, very professional. So, and also city police too. NYPD. Maybe not all of them, man. There's some crazy stories out there. That one that lap danced her lieutenant, and now she's trying to play the female card, saying, "Oh, if a man did it, nobody would be talking about it." Let me tell you, honey, if a man lap danced his lieutenant, yeah, people would be talking about it. You know, but she has this
oh
incredible
yeah,
body and whatever, and here she is, and the guy's married too, and then it went viral. She's a rookie. So here you have this rookie, this female throwing herself at this dude, lap dancing him. But she got in trouble because one of her relatives got arrested in New Jersey, DWI, and she walked into the barracks drunk and was berating the police and said that she's going to bring him up on charges because he did the wrong thing, and she got arrested for that, and also she's not going to be able to be a police officer anymore. But talk about setting female police officers back 100 years, right?
oh I know. Oh, you know what? This is a good time. Hold on. This is a good time for me to give away a free book. You know what, guys?
Eight
I got a
dollars and
question
five
for you.
cents for a gallon of regular gas at a LA gas
Oh my
station.
God, man, that's horrible. Hold on. Let me find
9.19 for
StreamYard
diesel.
again. Oh, there we go.
9.19 for diesel. How big are those
So
tanks on a truck?
mine to fill up where I am right now, my truck.
No, a tractor
It would
trailer.
it would a tractor trail. Oh God, no! You're paying at $5 a gallon. You're probably paying $400 a tank, or more, or more. Uh, wait, we're gonna go back to what we were talking about. So this, I'm gonna give this book away. Okay, so it's which one is this? This is volume 32. So it's a great anthology. I mean, anthology. Sorry, and it's 12 great stories in there. I'm gonna get that book away free if you can tell me what president had the most mass shootings and school shootings in the history of the United States. And I might put it, well, that's good enough. I know who it was. I already knew who it was in the beginning, but, and who had the least, and we're talking modern history. Well, mass shootings really didn't happen back in the day. So we're talking about modern history in the last, say, 50 years. Who had the most? Anybody? Everybody's scared. Hey, Jay, you around? You can join us, man. I didn't know you were around. Um, who do y'all think it was? You can write me an iCard, and if you get it there, if somebody don't get it here and you get it there, I'll give you all the book. But I'm getting ready to spill the beans, so if you're going to write to me, you better do it fast because even my emails will tell me what time it was. Reagan did have the least. Well, Trump actually I think had the least, but yes, Trump did have the least. I can't believe that. But the guy who had the most was Barack Hussein Obama with 128. That is more than all the rest of the presidents combined almost twice. So proves my point. The worse the leader, the more violence there is in the United States. When we have strong leaders, there is less violence. Reagan was a strong, off your pants kind of leader. He did hardly no violence. Trump was the same way. There just wasn't hardly any mass shootings. There was lots of BLM crap, but that was Democrat inspired. There wasn't any real mass shootings. One guy tried to run over some people, which was kind of stupid, but so he had very few. But here we are with Barack, and now here's Biden. I think he's 15 or 20 already. He's already passed up baby Bush, and we're only not even 2 years into his. It won't be 2 years till November, and I don't know what it is with Democrats. Every time we get a Democratic president, even Clinton, I think Clinton had 28 or 30, and he was a pretty strong president. But for some reason, under Democrats, the amount of mass shootings go up through the ceiling. No,
Yeah.
there was a couple under Trump. I just don't remember how many. I have to go look. The Democrats do not, for some reason, they do not portray strength across the nation anymore. Maybe
Well,
not since
what
I've been
happened
alive. They
under
never
Trump?
has.
Those fake protesters that robbed people, hurt people, stabbed, raped, and also burned down police stations. That was this Democrats team. They you know they and then nobody ever was held accountable. They fanned the flames. Obama did, Hillary did. They said keep doing what you're doing, go out there protesting, whatever. And they supplied a lot of dark money to those people to go. Antifa and Black Lives Matter, all these groups that came out that basically were the brute squad.
Yeah, I'm gonna start to
There's
do
nothing new under
BLM.
the sun. It's a brute squad, just with a different name. Go out there and hurt people. If someone's saying something you don't like, throw a rock at their head or stab them. That's what they do. Look at Antifa.
Yeah, the whole all those groups. I don't want to get into them all because I don't want to write me hate mail, but so many of them need to just go the way of the dodo bird. But unfortunately, under our Constitution, they have the right to exist as long as they're not causing harm. But it's borderline with a lot of them. I don't know what's going to go on with the BLM girl. I mean, just $65 million nobody can account for. She's got. They said one mansion. Now they're saying two mansions. Originally they said three, but now it's down to two. Um, I
I
think
read
that's the
six,
global.
all in all, from the beginning of their
That's the
buying power. But she's also
yeah
paying people a ton of money that she doesn't need to pay,
yeah.
and stuff that has
We know
nothing to
she's in
do with
trouble.
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, we know her brother was
But
got
she's
paid for
blaming
being
who? She's
security.
blaming who? She blaming Joe.
I don't know who she's
Who's she
blaming.
blaming?
I ain't heard her blame
She's
anybody. I've
blaming
been listening to her.
conservatives. She's
Oh, she
blaming
blame.
conservative media
Well, she's
that
going to jail,
they're
so
targeting
of
her.
course they're targeting her because she's a thief. But what got me is um the guy who one of the big protesters guys. He came out today and said, "Why would y'all even believe in BLM?" He said, "I didn't." He said, and "I said it on the air and publicly and all over the place." He said, "Most of my black friends did." He said, "Actually, I don't know any black people got behind BLM." I said, "Well, somebody did because they were protesting in the streets." He said, "Yeah." He said, "But he said a lot of them people were paid." He said, "I'm not saying they were actors or anything. They were just paid." He said they were paying
Yeah,
two,
they're
three hundred
paid.
dollars to go rampage through the streets. And
You
he
know that.
said, and I'm not even sure some of them weren't being brought to other cities. He's like, he said, because I noticed when we looked a couple times, it looked like they were familiar faces. I said, well, I don't know, I didn't
Yeah,
watch.
they bust them around. They put them in buses and they brought them to different places,
I
man.
said, as long as they
That
weren't coming
was
to my city, I wasn't really paying attention, because
uh,
we were talking about what's his name, the kid who shot up those people, and they tried to say, oh, because he was racist and this, that, and the other thing. No, y'all, I tried to attack him. He shot y'all. And what gets
which
me
kid?
is you see the kid with the gun. He was what is I can't think of Millhouse or Morehouse or something, whatever his name was. He shot those three because they tried to attack
Yeah.
him while he had his gun. He came over. His friend called him over to come help defend, and he wasn't even old enough to have a gun. Um, and but they said it was self defense.
Rittenhouse.
So Rittenhouse, that was
Oh,
it.
but-
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that was it. And he got off. I'm sure everybody wasn't happy about it, but look, you don't run up to somebody who's got a gun in their hands. I never understood why would you run up to someone, especially a young person, which you don't know how they're going to act. You really don't have a clue how this person's going to respond
Why
when
would
you run up
somebody?
there with a gun.
Why would somebody in Yellowstone walk up to a grizzly bear and think it's like a cat?
No, because that I could see.
Or
People are
or
just
bison
stupid.
or bison. Yeah, people are stupid. and they get bold and brazen in their stupidity. All the video games they play have a reset button. Life has no reset button.
Yeah,
When
life
stuff
doesn't. So
happens, it goes down.
you
It
go.
happens for
What
real.
lost me? So
And that's the problem. These Antifa guys live in their parents' basements and they don't have any kind of life, no responsibility. They don't have to work, nothing like that. They get together for every time a Republican is going to speak, they send them and they throw bricks at people's heads. And the police stand there and do nothing. So
so
again, the police fail. We have a problem with the police in the U.S. of
yeah, and
not doing their jobs.
yeah. Well,
And I
I'm gonna
don't
give
care
you a
what people
good.
say.
I'm gonna give you a great segue in how two parishes next to each other, how they're different. So today I'm going to pick up a prescription, right? So I see this cop's got this guy pulled over in the parking lot. So I stopped because this old lady was having a hard time backing out, trying to get out the parking lot. And this lady behind me just blowing her horn. And I'm thinking, bitch, just calm down. So I flip it a bird. The cop goes over there and tells her, chill out. Stop with the horn. It was pissing the cop off because the cop was trying to talk to this guy, whatever this kid was doing. So he's over there telling the woman, chill out, wait till this old lady gets out. And the guy tried to run. The other officer was trying to hold him. The guy was trying to run. So the cop runs
Mm,
back over. He's trying to get him. Well, while this is all going on, 3 carloads of girls pull up, right? And they're screaming and hollering at the cops. Next thing I know, I pull in the parking lot. I go into the store. I come back out. There are people everywhere. There are 14 cop cars, Mike. 14. 4 out on one highway, 4 out on another highway, and all the rest were in the parking lot. There were people everywhere. So this is a lesson for people, okay? This guy tried to run. He got arrested. They brought him in. He had his 2 kids with him. And he got his ass arrested. So, and the bad part is he was wearing colors that made me think he might have been a senior in high school or something. But anyway, these other cars, I guess friends of his showed up. So the one girl's telling the cop something. The cop told her to stop. He said, "Sit down. I'll talk to you in a minute." And then she starts her car. Well, the cop flipped out. He said, "Don't start your car. Turn your car." She kept telling him, "It's off. It's off." He said, "I can hear the car running." And he said, "I'm gonna tell you this one more time. Turn your car off." Oh shit, no. Oh no, no, no. So he grabs her by the arm, drags out. She slaps him, she bites him, she kicks him, she scratches him. So he tells her, every time you hit me is 1 year in jail. He said, "You're assaulting an officer." So she calmed down for a second. He grabbed her along, handcuffed her, threw her on the floor, threw her on the ground. The other girl's over there done slapping. He drags her out the car, handcuffs her, put in the 2 girls in the back are kind of chilling. Then they get out and try to run. The cops on the other side grab them, drag them out. So all of a sudden, now there's 5 of them on the ground. The other 2 load the car acting the same way, except for 2 girls there. All that rest of them flipped out. And these cops, so these are Jefferson Parish cops. You should have never hit him. You're going to jail in Jefferson Parish. New Orleans, and this is the problem. These girls look like they were probably from New Orleans originally, or maybe they were just in Metairie. But in New Orleans, you hit a cop. You'll be out in a week. You'll be out the next day. They'll let you out because the jail's too full. And when it comes time to go to the trial, they'll just drop it. It won't even be a big deal. But in Metairie, it's not like that. You assault an officer, you're going to jail. It's just two different. I mean, because Mayor Cortell, she's from Compton, California. That's where she hailed from. She moved down here to go to school at Xavier and got into politics. And get this woman. So she's under indictment for credit card fraud from the water company. She's using their credit card for $50,000. So she runs for mayor and wins against a judge.
there you
I
go.
was like, yeah. So that's why she didn't get any trouble for. They just told her to pay back the money. You won't be in any trouble. Now she might have went to jail. It's just so corrupt. So up there in New Orleans, they're very liberal, and it's a blue part of the state, and they just let everybody out of jail. I mean, here's another perfect story for you. They let these carjackers out. They got caught 3 different times. 3 guys carjacking. So they're carjacking this truck. They wanted this guy got a brand new Ford F-150 fully loaded. He's sitting in his truck. One guy comes up to the other window with a gun, and 2 guys got knives. Get out your truck, get out your truck. So he slides out. She's like Yosemite Sam, buddy. He got a 44 in one hand and 9mm in the other hand, and you can hear him. I got loud and clear. One of you or all of you are gonna die, but no one is getting my truck. And I go, I'll kill you, I'll kill you. And he reached over with that 44 and popped around. That thing sounded like a cannon. Wow. Them kids started running. He popped off 1 9. He said, "You're running further, I'm gonna shoot you." He said, "Sit down on the ground, kid." He went and got them straps out the back of his truck, strapped the hand, strapped on, and waited for the cops. And but it shows you right there. He went and had a gun. He'd either got shot or lost his truck or both. But he come out of there. I
Yeah,
mean, it was
man,
hilariously funny, scary but funny.
they coddle the criminals. They enable them.
Yeah,
They do. and they get no time, no nothing. Like in New York City, they're going in, they're going out. It's just catch and release for these heavy crimes.
Well,
It's got to stop. There's got to be a point. Every state's got their different laws, and the southern states are a little more intense when it comes to
mm,
punishing people than of course like California or New York. But look what's happened.
yeah, it's
And now
Hollywood.
people are screaming for more police. And look what's happened, man. But we live in a society that you know like I want to talk about the whole Amber Heard thing, right? And Johnny
Oh,
Depp
the
because
Amber
we haven't
Turd
gotten
thing.
to that.
Okay.
But we live in a society where like look at men. Men are vilified, toxic masculinity, all this other stuff that people say, and now women are out there being polled. I just read a thing in Cosmopolitan. This article popped up. Not that I read Cosmopolitan all the time. Is that women feel like their men can't protect them? Because they
It's
lost
like
because
girly
of
boys.
the whole Me Too toxic masculinity. But look at Amber Heard. Here's a woman who's an abuser. She abused a guy. She physically, mentally, all kinds of abuse. I was in a relationship like that too. You know, she didn't poop in the bed, but it was 15 years of that kind of abuse. And but who do you go to? I couldn't go to the police. I couldn't go. And out here I am this big dude, 6'5", giant guy. People are like, oh yeah, whatever, you big baby, and that type of thing. So you just deal with it. You deal with it. But yet it was like a continual hammer, like a swing of a hammer, 24 hours a day. She middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, start going off, about whatever she felt like she needed to go off. She sent me texts all night long too, which shows you of what a horrible person I was. Meanwhile, I was just just trying to survive every day and raise her kids and in this situation. But I'll tell you, I like this victory for Johnny Depp. It's a victory for all men out there that have stood or wrongfully accused. It's an encouragement for the men out there who are being abused to come forward and let them know. And look, Amber Heard, pretty girl, blonde hair, nice body, but of course, that's what got her off the hook many times. But she lied on the stand. People, as soon as you lie, get caught in one lie on the stand.
Yeah,
That's
no,
really it.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
that's pretty much it. Nobody, your credibility is shot after that, and
But what
it
I also
just,
find interesting is that so she got Johnny Depp is going to receive apparently 10.4 million. Before this case, she was supposedly worth 8 to 10 million. Now after the case, she says she's broke because she spent all of her money. So basically, the money she has is the money that she got from him, the 9 million for their divorce that she was going to give to charity, and she lied about that. Now they're going after her and looking to arrest her because she had said she'd donate this money and she didn't, but she's been on a spending spree. She's been traveling, doing her thing, buying $30,000 purses, going crazy with everything. I mean, really, $30,000 purse, so she's
oh
mental.
man,
The girl
I want a
mental.
$30,000 purse just so I can pawn the damn thing or sell
She
it.
was riding the carousel. She got with the wealthy people. Whatever
Yeah,
these guys saw in her, they did. She's over 20 years younger than Johnny Depp,
hey,
and
Beast Man.
the same
Hey,
same for Elon. That she ran to him, but she likes the money guys. But she just bought big mansion out in the desert. I guess she wanted to be away from everybody. And
That's
oddly
true,
enough,
Tamara.
she was using her homeowners policy to pay for her lawyers. There's a clause in homeowner policies that if you get sued for defamation, they can represent you, but unless there's
Well,
no
she's got
wrongdoing.
double jeopardy because Elon said he's paying for her lawyers.
Well, there's no wrongdoing, but there was wrongdoing on her part, so now she's not covered for those payments. She has to pay for her lawyer.
That
She has
makes
to pay
sense.
for his lawyer. So
So,
and court
so
fees, and the court fees.
and the court fees, yeah, and that's going to be a lot of them. So we're going to backtrack a few minutes because somebody just sent me all of the president's mass shooting. So I got a question. You know who had the least, right? We talked about it.
before we continue, I just want to
Go ahead,
finish
go
my
ahead.
thought.
No, go ahead, go
You
ahead.
know what? She made herself the face of the Me Too movement. She ran to the front, and meanwhile, she knows she's a liar. And this is another thing that these people have no credibility. And now again, you have a situation where you have someone. I can go down the list of Harvey Weinstein or even the Cuomo.
No, yeah.
I mean, this guy looked at me weird, or I didn't like the way he hugged me. It's gone beyond molestation and rape. It's become, he said, let's play naked poker, a strip poker. It's gone beyond these horrible things to include innuendo, and then these guys are guilty in society. These people make these claims, he did this, so he raped me. Remember the college student? She said that those two guys raped her, because she had a boyfriend. She was trying to hide that she was just being a rotisserie chicken for these two guys. You know what I mean? And she didn't want to cop to it. But yet those guys were suspended from college. They lost their tuition. The case took 2.5 years to prove them innocent. Then she finally came forward saying that she lied, and nothing happened to her. Nothing happened to her. She ruined their lives. People will always think of those guys as the ones who raped that girl. Even if
Yeah,
they're found innocent, it doesn't matter if they're found innocent. Their brains are already poisoned.
and Mike, with the,
And
with
this
the
is
with the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case, she did not only did she defame his character. I mean, he's not hurting. Don't get me wrong; he's still doing pretty well. But she lost him the job as Gellert Grindelwald in the Fantastic Beasts series.
That might have helped it, 'cause
Part of
it
it also, I
sucked.
think he lost his job with the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise due to these
He
these
might
cases.
he might get that back though, because I heard
Maybe
they just made him
he
another
got paid
offer.
anyway. They fired him from the
Yeah.
third movie, but he's got a pay or play clause. So whether he got fired or they recast the role, whatever, he got his full money for that movie. But still,
But
it's I
everybody,
don't know if you guys remember
something they
way
say.
back when the what's the guy the CBS newscaster they asked him a question during the football game why that the black players were faster runners than the white players. Is it Jimmy the Greek? I think it's Jimmy the
Yeah,
Greek.
Jimmy the Greek.
Anyway,
Yeah.
he answered correctly historically. He didn't say any bad words. He didn't use any racial slurs. He simply said that during slave times, the slave owners took the biggest, strongest slave males with the biggest, strongest slave females, and rather to make more stronger slaves for their farms, and that's the reason why that African Americans now today have a larger muscle mass than white people. They are faster athletes. They are stronger athletes. They jump higher and all that kind of thing. It's accurately correct. It's not a falsehood. And yet CBS fired him for that because he said the truth. The same kind of thing.
well, but at least you'll get money out of that kind of lawsuit though.
Yeah,
Those
but
kind
you
of
know what?
suits.
He got paid for that one.
This woman manufactured evidence against him about the bruises and all that, and they even found
She
one of the
should go to jail.
pictures
She should
where
face some charges.
they even found the makeup running in one of the pictures. Like they found a drip when the forensic people were going through, and they determined that they weren't bruises. That it was just makeup. So what about that? What about manufacturing of evidence? But I tell a lot of young guys, be careful, because all you need to do is have someone make an allegation against you, and you're already done. Without a trial, you're done. People will automatically think that, and it's a damn shame that it's come to that. Where male managers don't want to hire female employees because of all this work stuff going on, and people getting fired because of all the sexual innuendo or anything. But we're sexual creatures, humans. I mean, you can't deny what you are. You
Yeah,
know, uh,
we can't be what we are without having sexual relations. We don't reproduce if we don't do it. So
How do you
can't get
how do
around
you
it.
hit on someone, man? How do you hit on someone? But look at these guys in college. They're with a girl. They both get drunk. They have sex. Next morning, the girl is like, "Oh, I didn't want to have sex." The guy goes to jail for rape. The judges have already ruled that if they're inebriated, you can't have sex. I mean, they're taking all the fun out of it.
Well, if
That's the
they're
whole
both
point of it.
inebriated, then neither one should be accused of anything, right? I mean, if they're both
Well,
drunk,
that's what
neither
I'm
one of them
saying.
has any control on their brains.
In the club business back in the day, that's how a lot of people got around. They're, at the end of the night, they've got stuff in them, man. They
Mhm.
they had partaken in drinking partiness, and then whatever they do out there is what they do, man. But you didn't think about the rape angle, and once that happens, you're a sex offender. You got to register for the rest of your life. It's very hard to become to get that lifted off of you. And then
It's
wherever you
damn near
move,
impossible. Yeah.
you have to register as a sex offender wherever you move. Whatever job you go to, they're gonna know that you're a sex offender. And by the way, it gets sealed So whoever sees it just sees that you're a sex offender. They don't see why or what or anything. Now they're using the sex offense charges and other things, like in domestic disputes. If one person smashes something in front of somebody else, that could also be construed as that. I'm like, what? And it's just, they're just pushing,
Because you
pushing,
live in
pushing.
them weird states, man.
New York, yeah,
You
man,
know,
where they
yeah, we
have
don't
no
have to put up with none
problem.
of that shit down here.
They have no
Look, let me
problem
tell
hanging
you, some
out to
ladies, if
dry.
y'all are listening, in Louisiana, I'm allowed to take my 4-inch belt out every Sunday and whoop your ass with it. It's actually a law on the books. Just, I'm totally serious. It's a law that is on the books, along with some other very weird ones. But for some reason, nobody ever says anything about it. They just leave it there. It's because Louisiana has two sets of laws. We have the United States laws, but we also have our French laws, and we do use a lot of them. And that's just one of them. No, it's not a blue law. It's actually a law that came from our French heritage. It's a strange, but yeah, see how that works. You bitches better tighten up every
But
Sunday.
if
But
you
somebody. Okay.
do you guys think that Harvey Weinstein went out there and raped people, or do you think that these women laid down with him because they knew they were getting a job? And I'll
Mm.
say it's crappy having to do that, but they knew what they were doing when they were doing it.
See, and this
I,
takes me back to what I originally said about all of this a decade ago, and all when they started seeing this a lot. There's a thing called voice dress analysis and a polygraph. Give them both. Because, and I'm saying give them to Weinstein, give them to the girls, because a lot of those girls were what we just same thing with what's his name, Cosby. A lot of them were cast couch girls or casting couch girls. Ladies, don't get offended, but it's true. A lot of women will give up the booty to get a job, and a lot of times it's because let's be honest, you don't go to somebody's home or apartment or hotel room in the evening time thinking I'm auditioning for a job. I'm sorry if you're thinking that, you're more naive and should not even be in Hollywood in any
You,
shape,
you
form,
know,
or fashion.
there are people, men and women, that sink down to all kinds of levels, and you can't defend against that.
But
Rape to me is somebody being somebody pushing himself on somebody else that
yeah,
they
it's
don't want it.
non-consensual.
You know,
yeah,
right?
well, the Harvey Weinstein thing. There's like 90 some women that have made accusations. Some of them in the country, some out. The one that stands out the most that can't be prosecuted because it's beyond statutes of limitations and it was outside the country is the actress Lizette Anthony, who plays the star in Krull, the lead character Lissa, the love interest. She reports that he came to her apartment twice and forcibly had sex with her, but because she was afraid of his power in Hollywood, she didn't want to say anything and lose her job on this movie, which was a huge movie for her. So I think he's a sexual predator. I think the
Well,
evidence
he
is
is. There's no
there.
doubt about that.
There's probably a few that made it up or it went in, like you said, Mike, that knew what they were getting into, and then once the lawsuit came out, like,
I would
oh well, yeah,
imagine.
me too. But a good bit of that, he's a sexual predator.
He's an ugly guy, and he would have never have been one of those beautiful women if
That's
he
right. He
didn't have
wouldn't
that
have. I
position
mean,
of
he had
power.
Angela Jolie,
But
man. Come on,
but
he got
you can
Angela.
go through the music business, find the same types of people, and this was tolerated
You're
by
gonna
by
find it because as long as people are desperate enough to give it up to get a job, I mean, come on, you should never have to have sex for a
he
job.
was
I
a
don't
big
care what
Democratic.
industry. Well, maybe
He
if you're
was
in, a whore.
he was a big Democratic donor. Give lots of money.
Yeah,
You're
well,
right.
we know
I
there's we
mean,
know there's a
this
bunch of
this
pedophiles in the Democrats. That's nothing. That's not anything new. I mean, it's just part of their party. I think
you,
these
you know
days.
it's become like this, right? The Jurassic Park thing, and you have Laura Dern, who was 20 years
Mm-mm.
younger than her co-actor there. Now, so they're just going off about this now and how, oh yeah, back then it was okay, but now it's definitely not okay to be 20 years older. The guy, and then the female, because of all these, she's listing all these reasons which have nothing to do with anything.
They
And
don't.
but she said because of the Me Too movement, it's not acceptable today. So it's not, but she thought it was acceptable then. So you know
Well,
what,
as a casting
her
couch
her
was. I mean,
her
when I was
ideas
growing up,
have
they
been
talked about it
her
all the
but
time.
her ideas have been influenced by this fake movement, and then there's a lot of people out there saying, oh well,
Well,
I was abused too, but they're looking into it.
because
About
honestly,
how
the casting couch needed to go. Let's be honest about it. It needed to
what
go.
about, oh yeah, hell
And
yeah, and same for the music business. But what about Dr. Ford there when she went against Kavanaugh, right? And
but in the end, she ended up like what's her name? What was her name? The one who ratted out the fat girl on the Clinton. Monica, the one who ratted out Monica. That's how she ended up. She's hated. Nobody likes her. Even the Democrats don't like her because she failed in her attempt. Everybody else hates her because they think she's a lying F and B. She just sometimes this shit backfires on you.
But
And
the
you're not a
fact
strong
is,
Democrat. I mean,
they
she's a nobody.
on no evidence, only hearsay. They
And it
did
was
this whole trial.
30 years ago.
You
And in the
you
end,
know
it
what I
still
mean?
bit him in the ass.
And
It
then in the
didn't.
end, she admitted that she didn't remember if it was him or somebody else. That wasn't even the
Yeah,
right
because there
house.
was other. Yeah,
It
because
wasn't
other
even
people
it,
came forward and said they don't
it
remember
wasn't
seeing
even the
that, and
right
they were with
house.
me.
But yet she then she said she would have said anything to keep him out. She would have lied to keep him out. Why is that allowed? What, she lied on the
It's
stand. She
actually
perjured.
not. It's actually not. But see, this isn't on
Perjury.
the Democrats. It is, but this isn't on the Democrats. This is on the Republicans. They should have went after her, and they didn't. They just
The
let it go
Democrats
because
were the
they
ones that
won.
brought her forward, and they knew it was bullshit.
They did, but it doesn't matter. They're not going to try to convict her, but the Republicans could have. They had the votes in the House and the Senate. They had the Supreme Court judge they just got on. They won. So they just let it go because they won. That's all it is. It's nothing more than that. They're happy because they got their big win and she got embarrassed. And that was the end of that. So they figured embarrassing her was enough. That's their call. I don't agree with that
Yeah,
particular call
and
because
yet
I think there needs to be punishment for false claims because it's too
when you
much of it.
talk about Kavanaugh to people, that's the thing they bring up, and that's the
Not to
thing
me,
that
they
they
don't.
think of. Yeah,
No, see,
that's
well,
what it is.
it really. I think that just has to do with people because most of the people when we talk about Kavanaugh,
Yeah,
we're talking about his decisions as a Supreme Court judge.
the court of
We're not
public
talking about
opinion,
that.
man. It's the court of public
And
opinion.
actually, I don't think the conservatives even care, and most of the independents don't either. The only people going to whine about that's going to be the Democrats, then because they lost. And look, they're still talking about let's add 3 more to the Congress. Well, go ahead, you better do it quick because guess what? In 3 months, 4 months, you're not going to have a chance. Um, I've been hearing a lot of. Well, we got to go back and do this gun thing. I've been getting harassed about it, um, but 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 really and truly, where we are right now is unprecedented in the last 30 or 40 years. Just you got to go back to Carter to find this much of what looks like going to be a red sweep. Really and truly, it looks unless something major changes, and that's why I don't vote on elections because you never know. Like Hillary dropping that thing, 4 days before the election, 5 days before the election, you never know what's going to come out and cause a problem. So I don't think in the midterm there's going to be a big problem. I think the Republicans are going to sweep. I think they'll take way more seats in the House than anybody thought. What was the last big sweep? Like 56 they took or something. So they have a good chance. They have a good chance of taking. I think it's 6 or 8
What are
in
they
the
going to do when
Senate.
they get it back? That idiot Mitch
Nothing.
McConnell. What's he going to do? The guy's so
They're
full
going
of
to
it.
do nothing, just like they did when they had it under Trump. They're going to do nothing. All they're going to
Mitch
do is keep
McConnell
the.
and Nancy Pelosi have been in control for like 30 some years, man.
I know
I
it's
mean, like
ridiculous. That's what we were
it's
talking about at the beginning
crazy.
of the show. Term limitations. But anyway, let me go get this gun stuff out of the way so we can get back on to what we were talking about. But and Brian, thank you for sending. I thought I had this in here, so I'm glad you resent it to me. So this is what's so funny about this. When you look at these lists about who did what. By the way, in case y'all didn't know this, Trump had 0 mass shootings in his 4 years of president. By the way, that is unprecedented. You got to go back before Reagan to find somebody with 0 mass shootings. So
What, like
Ronald
Lincoln?
Reagan, go ahead.
What, back to Lincoln? How far back?
No. Actually, I'm only going to go back to I think Nixon actually or Ford.
Oh, okay.
It's not that far back, but unfortunately Carter had a couple, but they didn't put him on the list. So you had Ronald Reagan had 11. It's not too bad. His predecessor, Senior Bush, had 12. Yeah, not too bad. It's just still mass shootings. 12 a year, still kind of harsh. So then you jump to Clinton, and it jumps up to 23. Now, one of the things, the reason I brought this up, because you're going to see a correlation between weak presidents and mass shootings versus strong presidents and mass shootings. So, as you notice, Reagan had very few. Of course, as we go up, the number's going to get bigger. Clinton was not completely a weak president. By the way, Baby Bush had 20. So you can see the correlation. Baby Bush was not particularly a strong president. Even though we went to Desert Storm and kicked ass, no one really seen him as this, like he wasn't a Reagan, he wasn't a Trump. I don't know what the hell he was. He was better than Biden, by the way, but still, he wasn't he didn't inspire the nation. So he had 20.
He's
So
kind of
here
like
comes,
a little evil leprechaun. That's what Bush.
he kind of was. So here comes Obama. Brock's saying Obama. I was wrong earlier about how many he had. He had 162.
Wow.
In 8 years, 162 mass shootings. Like I said, more than all the presidents combined. Oh my God. So wait, it's worse than that. The 12 worst mass shootings in the country's history happened in Obama's first 4 years as president.
And
I
so
mean,
what are they going after? They're going after high capacity magazines. Anybody who shoots,
yeah. And a lot of
that's
these
just
were
the
not that.
thing.
Well, Biden said he wants to go after 9 millimeters. Yeah, I don't know how he's going to do that
if
because
you
the
know how to
country will
load your
flip over
gun
that.
and you're putting a cartridge in, man, it's a no brainer. And really, the high capacity magazines have a propensity to jam up. So they're also a
Yeah,
lot
if
heavier.
you have the wrong kind of gun, yeah, a high capacity magazine can jam up. Brett is usually don't. I have one, but like you said, if you know what you're doing, a single shot rifle, pistol, shotgun, you can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I'm talking
The
like
reason why,
more of the capacity,
yeah,
like the 50 rounders to 100 rounders.
right, but the reason why those any high capacity, I mean, 15 round magazine, 10 round magazine, most of them are 10 now, or
Yeah.
restricted to 10, but 15 on up. It tends to give a guy the spray or pray mentality. He can just go and empty the clip, put in a new one, and go. And whether he's aiming at a particular person or not, he just aims in that general vicinity, and he kills a lot of people he didn't want to shoot on purpose because the person he wanted to shoot is in that crowd. So that's really the bad thing about the magazines is that it gives someone sort of that close my eyes and shoot and hope I hit what I shot at.
But they're going after the gun. They're not going after the mentality. And
Mhm.
and why? Because we had these guns when we were kids, 30-something years ago, 40, even 40 years ago. Uh, and there was no mass shootings. Nobody went out there to kill each other. And, I don't know. It's a different world now, different mentality. But the guy had a shotgun in that school. He could have done exactly the same thing and reap carnage. And it didn't really matter about the automatic. It mattered about the mentality, and what he did. There's a lot of guns he could have used to kill those
Use
kids.
this one.
And a lot of those kids only got shot once and they bled out in the hour that they were in there because that cop didn't let the other cops go in. So, there's something to that. Those people
Yeah,
needlessly died where they could have been
The
saved.
police even admitted that they waited too long. They should have acted sooner. But that's on them. And they were acting out of
The Border Patrol
caution
TAC
for their
team,
own selves.
the TAC team, Border Patrol, decided to go in on their own, saying, "Fuck this, we're
Target
going in."
practice much a while.
You know?
So, well, that's a point. So this is mechanic, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. This is what came with it, a 21 round clip. This is my baby for when the apocalypse comes. I got a few of these.
They're actually called magazines.
I like calling them clips. It's
A
hey,
clip
it's
is
my
a thing
shot.
about bullets.
But
Well, there is the thing called the N clip, which is no longer used, which was used in the
yes,
M1 Garand.
and they are, and Mike's actually correct. They are called
I had
magazines. This one is
was it?
44 rounds. That's what this one is. I got two that are 50 rounds, and they will pop them off, baby, like they ain't nothing. It's got a 3-pound trigger on it. It's accurate as all hell. It's got a 5-inch barrel, spiral barrel, so I get longer range out of it. This is a gun. If you're going to go kill somebody or go wreak havoc on somebody, you want two of these. Or you want one of these and a 44 Magnum automatic. Because you can wreak all the hell you want.
If you're
this one's a
girl.
9. Oh, no. You want the 9 because it's far more accurate than the 45 or the 44. It's just that's why when you see competition shoots, this is what they're usually shooting with. Matter of fact, this very gun's won many competitions. It's because they're just extremely diddly
Glock
accurate.
20, 10 millimeter. Don't mess around.
Nah, Glocks have issues.
People use it when they live with their.
Great.
People use
Glocks
them
have
in
issues.
People use them in bear country because they're reliable and that 10 millimeter works.
And you ain't getting no clips like these for no Glock. You can forget that.
They got 19 round magazines for the Glocks.
Yeah, that's about as big as you're going to get. You're not getting no 40 or 50.
Because you can carry extra magazines. So that's my point. If it's 10 rounds,
but the point is, by the time you change a magazine in, by the time you change a magazine, I done killed you, my friend.
No,
I got 50 rounds. I got 50 rounds. You won't even get the thing out.
A sheriff out west, proved the fact that the high capacity magazines aren't any better at shooting than the 10 rounders. I mean, they did
It's
side by
not a
side tests.
matter. It's not a matter if they're a better round. It's a matter you're now dodging 50 bullets. Okay. And it don't have to hit you exact. You can just go around in a circle and kill somebody. You don't have to be a great shot with 50 rounds. You're going to get them. Even if you go left to right, you're going to get them, or up and down, you're going to get them. It's just that it's a simple fact. And this gun shoots at such a fast pace, it outshoots a Glock like 3-1. That's why it beats them in competition 3-1. You're just not going to get that kind of performance out of a Glock. If I got to go down in a war, if I got to go down and the zombies are coming, I don't want no damn Glock. Guys, I know a lot of my friends carry Glocks, but I ain't carrying no Glocks.
But most reliable. When you look at the list, those are most reliable. So it comes down. If that's your opinion, that's your opinion. But if you look at the
it's
stats,
not that. And they're not the most reliable for competition rounds.
You want real reliable, then you're going to
Glocks are not made to be shot all the time. Glocks are made for defense. They're not a gun that's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be reaming them out, taking them in. That's why they get cremated. And to make a Glock, and I'm just totally honest, to make a Glock that can compete with this gun in competition, you're going to spend $2,000 just to get it where it can perform to keep up with this gun. It's just.
You want a better barrel.
Well, the problem with Glocks is they're not as accurate. They're a close range, up close
everything
weapon.
You're saying is opposite of the statistics.
No, that's facts, and that's police statistics. That's why they don't use them.
If you owned a Glock, you would be bragging about it.
No, I've shot them. I worked in the rifle pistol range. The problem with the Glocks is like what Joe says. It's a defensive pistol. It's for close range police combat. It's not for you don't see them on the SWAT teams. The SWAT guys, what do they carry? They carry 45, 1911s. They carry those really expensive ones. But the thing is that if you read the manual for the Glock, they tell you do not clean the weapon for at least 3,000 rounds. I know, which not only is it says it in the book, which is not only irresponsible. Why? What does that? What do you need to do? You need to season the barrel with gunpowder and iron to make it.
You might have to
I don't understand that, but I clean my gun after I shoot it. I mean, even if I shot one bullet, I come back and I clean it.
They told me not to switch rounds on this one until I shoot at least 100 rounds out of it, because I don't like the way the 115s perform. I like the 127s and the 142s. And so they told before I switched over, he said, because you want to be able to use the lower grain rounds. I said, all right, I'll shoot him out the damn gun if I have to. But the damn gun is just so accurate. It's scary accurate. It's not like my other 9s or my 45s because, I mean, come on. I got all 3 of my marksman badges in the Navy, and a 45 is a great gun, especially a Colt. But, man, this thing, there's just no effort to shooting this thing. You just pow, pow, pow. You're like, damn. The trigger's just so soft. I mean, you don't even have to squeeze. You just, bump it.
You know what I really like is a Luger 9mm, man. If I'm going to go,
I like a Luger 9mm, man. I ain't gonna lie. I had an old German, I had a German World War II version. I really liked it. I got a Ruger 9. Now I got a Ruger 9. It's composite made. It is a beast. A friend of mine he's actually a cop that gave it to us because they like Rugers in the military and they like them in the armed forces. I mean, in the police departments. They're just they just never break. And they're the kind of guns you can stick down in the mud and shoot them. Walk on them, step on, they're still going to perform. That's the kind of guns I like. This gun is made by the same people who make the AK-47. So I know this bitch is going to always work. You can beat the crap out of it, it's still going to shoot.
The military now is invested in the Sig Sauer. So
yeah, Sig's not a bad gun. Sig's not a bad gun either. Oh, guys, sorry, we're going to get off the guns in just a second, but that's the point about owning guns. You have to understand what you have. I've owned a lot of guns in my times. Man.
If you have a Beretta,
Beretta's got a nice gun. Yeah, Beretta makes a good gun.
Catholic Church, man. Of course, they own the majority of the stock.
But in a couple of weeks, y'all will get to see my new 45. But it's going to be a Colt, so it's a standard, what you would call. It's not a military issue, but it's the same type the military uses. It's just got a fancier handle and a fancier barrel.
Was it 1911?
Yeah, it's a 1911. It's exactly what it is. And they're really, what I like about them and what I like about this one is they have a heavy nose. So you don't have to work as hard when you pull a trigger because it doesn't raise up as much. There's less fuss coming up out of the barrel in the front.
It's usually the
opposite. So you don't have to hold it.
But usually is, but since they're so heavy. In any round. I mean, you can get 10 millimeter.
You can. In the Navy, they had them in 22.
Caliber, I think.
Yeah, but the Navy had them in 22s for when they were teaching the guys in boot camp how to shoot. They had them in 20. I still remember my commander started laughing. I said, "What is this?" I was like, "Pa, pa, 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 pa." He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm shooting through the red target without any effort at all." I said, "What am I shooting? A cap gun?" And he said, "No, they're to 22s." I said, "Oh, I own a real 45." I said, "I own a real 44 for that matter." Like, but I had a 44 Eagle I got rid of a long time ago.
I had one too. I didn't like it.
They're just cannons, man. Especially you put a magnum around it, you blow through a brick wall, no problem. Boom! It's like Dirty Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry.
They're very big.
And the handle was too big for my hand, so I couldn't control it too well.
And you got to get used to shooting
them through it.
Yeah, you got to get used to shooting them. They'll make your hands hurt and get all stiff. It is top heavy. It's very top heavy, and it's got long. You can get in a shorter barrel, but that's crazy because with the long barrel, the bitch is knocking you all over the place.
If I recall, the gun weighs 9 pounds without the bullet in it.
It's heavy. I don't know how much it weighed, but it was heavy. I remember it was heavy, and I was like, and I remember paying a lot of money.
It actually weighs more than my shotgun, which has 10 round capacity.
I mean, imagine carrying something like that. You know, I mean,
I did carry one like that. So
you want small, you want effective, and a good size caliber and reliable. That's all. I mean, that's a lot of guns these days. You can find very small guns at a 45.
Actually, Jason Brandon, to me, the AR-15 is becoming a coward's gun. One, it's not a high capacity gun. I mean, it's not a high charge gun. The rounds aren't real powerful. I mean, for killing people, it's great for killing people.
It's the gun people go to when they want to kill a whole bunch of people. That's why it was created.
That's what's so sad. There's so much better guns if you're going to kill a bunch of people than that thing.
It's based on a military
guns
rifle. I mean, that's why it was created.
Yeah, but not really. Not really. I shot a lot of military rifles. That thing is like a cap gun. I mean, I can shoot it one-handed. It's like
when I was a teenager, I had a Mini 14. You know, Mini 14.
I had one of those.
I had an M14. Yeah, I actually
a Ruger Mini 14. A lot of fun. 223 caliber, 556, same. And it was rapid fire. Had a 30 round magazine on it, and it was a lot of fun, man. And my friend had a Colt AR-15, and I was jealous because that was like the Cadillac. I mean, they were expensive. They were big bucks, and his family
just
had money.
It costs a lot of money. Don't mean they're good guns, though. I mean, shit. There's a lot of crappy guns out there.
I've had all types, but my friends too. But nobody went on shooting sprees. Nobody even threatened to do it.
I will take my 30-30 lever action against your AR anytime, and I will kill you dead as a doornail. One, I'd be blowing holes through walls when you're trying to get through the door. I'd be like, "Oh wait, I heard him! Oh, he took."
I don't think you understand 556, Joe.
No, I shot a lot.
I don't think you get it, man.
No,
it travels 3 times the speed of sound. You're talking about a bullet which is amazing.
And if it hits a lead pipe or a metal pipe, it folds into butter. It's garbage. You can't even shoot through a car door with the damn thing.
An AR-15?
It's garbage. Like I said, it's good for shooting people, but it ain't good for shooting anything else. I shot several, and we went target practice. Actually, matter of fact, we were shooting at a car from less than 90 feet, and they were ricocheting and scared the crap out of me. It's like shooting a BB gun. Then I pulled out the OD6 and blew a hole through one hole to the door into the other door and almost out the other side. That's a gun. AR-15 is just I don't know. And I've shot M14s, M16s, M90s. Those are guns. AR-15 is.
Well, the 223 and 556 aren't really designed to penetrate brick and mortar and.
No, they're designed to penetrate flesh. That's what they do. They kill. Yeah. They're designed to kill people.
Shoot right through concrete blocks and all that. I mean, you're talking about a very fast.
They must be shooting. They must be shooting through the air side.
A very fast traveling round, and it's got a hell of a punch. But there's a reason why it's there.
I call it expensive 22.
Last time I went shooting, my friend brought out his AR-10, and that was chambered in 308. Which is a real. That's a real heavy shot.
It's a nice round.
It'll put a bruise on your shoulder. You know what I mean? If you shoot it enough times. But
Winchester
and you think of that's more of a military rifle. I mean, that's more, and even though it's still an AR, but. Obviously military guns are built differently and the different specs and that type of thing, but it's got the same idea, and then a long time ago I had an AK-47, I had SKS and I had an AK-47. I got the SKS first and it made me want to get the AK, and that was another great rifle that shoot through trees and whatever, man.
They got nice big heavy rounds.
SKS is a nice rifle. I've shot one of those. They are fast.
They are fast.
With semi-automatic, but and it had a 20 round magazine to it, but I could empty it really quick. I mean, it's like less than a second for all 20 bullets.
Well, they're all nice rounds. I was But I proved a point to a friend of mine. He was talking about it because he's got a nice AK and he's been trying to make it fully automatic. I said, don't, because if you get caught with it, you're going to jail.
Oh yeah.
And and it shoots plenty fast enough. And
Yeah.
it's a beast. So he was showing. I said, "Let's walk, pace out how far this gun's shooting." So we walked. It was about 125 yards. And he said, "Why?" I said, "Because watch, I'm gonna shoot this one." And I said, "This one was 605 yards, which means I can see you, kill you before you even know where the hell I'm at, and I can shoot multiple rounds just like you do if I want to." I said, "The difference is these are guns of real war. These are guns for kill. AK is a great. I would never go against an AK in close combat under 100 yards. Man, it makes the M16 look sick. Them guns are beastified. They shoot unbelievably fast, and the round is unbelievably powerful. I've seen them shoot through armor. You know, they're the M16 is a good gun, but not like that. It's not that caliber of gun. It's a good weapon, but unless you're using high capacity rounds with armor piercing, it's just not the same gun. You didn't
The
even have to have the
M16
armor piercing.
was not produced. You know what? Soldiers didn't like
It was
it when
not.
it came on
They
the scene.
didn't because
They wanted to stick
promised.
with their M1s because the M1s were much more
Yeah.
accurate and reliable. You know, remember the M16s were
Yeah.
blown up. You know, they were
Well,
Well,
hurting the
yeah, because
soldiers.
There's more than that to them. The problem with the M16 in Vietnam was they threw it out quickly. They threw it out before it was fully tested. The shoulder stock, the pistol grip, and the foregrip were all made out of Bakelite, which was the forerunner of plastic. The gun was made out of plastic. The only thing that was metal was the receiver and the barrel, and that's it. Everything else was plastic. And so the foregrips were breaking on them or there were spaces in it as well. There was like a space along the side of it, which was pinching the soldiers' hands while they were in rapid fire. They had a problem with it jamming with dip it in the mud, and then the mud would stick in the barrel. The barrel would explode. Also, the mechanism, the ejection side was also sticking because it was getting mud in it. If you didn't clean that gun religiously every day, you shoot one round, you clean it. You shoot 10 rounds, you clean it. You shoot 50 magazines through it, you clean it. The soldiers did not in the woods of Vietnam have the opportunity to clean these weapons after they were done in a firefight, and that's what
combat.
killed it.
Well,
especially in those conditions, so humid, man. I mean,
yeah, they were,
terrible.
but they did have the M1s out
bring it
there.
back somewhere clean to a clean room to clean it up, and they didn't have it. They're walking through the jungle.
You know what? You know what's
4
cool?
weeks at a time. They didn't have time to clean it.
My AK had a cleaning kit in the butt of its handle. It had like a little thing you stick your finger in, and the whole thing came out on your hand. And that's so cool, man. It was just so cool.
Yeah, a couple of my guns.
But the same thing with the AK-47. You can take an AK-47, take the barrel, dip it into a puddle of mud, take it out, and it'll shoot. The barrel will not explode. You do the same thing with the team, it's going to blow up in your face, and you're going to have missing an eye.
The difference is I could shoot that thing, shoot it, and the barrel never got as hot where you couldn't grab it. You know, because it was vented so well. With other guns, you know, you can't grab the barrel after you've been using it, especially like AR-15, M16, anything like that.
You shoot them long enough, the barrel will melt.
The barrel,
it's a thin barrel.
Will warp. Yeah, they'll warp. The barrel's only good for about 10, 11,000 shots, if you think about it, and then it starts to flake. But you know, barrels are easily replaced. So,
yeah, well, if you got them with you, they're easily replaced. They But you know, the Navy and the Marines. Well, and Vietnam, the Navy and Marines were using M14s. They weren't using M16s. So
don't be like the Russians and run out of parts.
Well, what is an M14? Like a 308? I think M14 is a 308.
We need more parts. Yeah, man. I've never seen Russian tanks explode like that. You know what? It's really I can't.
Apparently, you have, man.
I can't watch enough of it on YouTube. I'm like,
Michael. Every time one of them tanks explode, somebody's dying, man. Come on.
The turrets pop up like a soda can, like boom, and it's all. I'm like, oh my god, you know, that's the $4.5 million every time they do that. These tanks are expensive, man.
I think they're more expensive than that.
No, that's what the T90s. That's the best they have in the field. You know,
someone on the news must have got it wrong. They said they were worth $4 billion a piece. So they obviously got that wrong.
No, million, not billion. So billion will buy you a few. Even our Abrams tanks don't cost all that much. I mean,
it depends which ones they are.
16 million, 16 for Abrams.
No. Some of them more than that. Just depends what they got. We got like 5 different sizes of Abrams.
But all that initial the posturing and the threat videos from Putin, like like when they were massing on the border and the tanks were like, going through the mud and firing and doing all this stuff. Like, look at our forces. And now they're just like on the road, like burned out junk. I just can't believe they're using American tactics like what we used against the British. The British would march in a straight line and our people would be hiding in the trees or hiding, their snipers and whatever. And these javelins are just incredible, man. Wow. Really incredible. So my hat's off to these people who are holding off the entire Russian army. We all thought they were much more tough and more complete. Now they want soldiers up to 65 years old. Putin says, they're scraping at the bottom of the barrel. They lost their big Wagner group. I mean, that's their elites. I mean, they're not looking too good, man.
Yeah, he overestimated his troops' capabilities, underestimated the Ukraine's abilities, and he didn't send enough. If he sent more, we probably would be looking at the re-annexation of the entire country. But they're holding their own, and I think if it doesn't escalate any further, we should be okay by the end of the year. But if they take our weapons that we've given them, that Biden's given them, they launch into Russia, that's going to start World War III. And because he's going to come after us. He's going to go after Poland. He's going to go after Turkey. He's going to go after.
Actually, I was telling Mike what he'll probably go after is whatever country sent them there.
Right.
And he'll probably just go after, if I know Putin, what he'll do is he'll go after the place they came from. So,
Poland, like he's got a bug up his ass about Poland anyway,
I don't know if he goes after Poland.
That Chechen leader just in Poland last week saying that in 6 seconds we need you forever and all that.
Well, he's got to be careful going after Poland because we now have U.S. troops there. You hit a U.S. troop, yeah, you did just start World War III because our troops will retaliate.
And let me tell you what, troops there, we are honor bound or contract.
Yeah, we are because NATO. But let me tell you something. Them 10,000 Marines who served in Iraq and Afghanistan, Putin will wish he never did that. It'll make the Afghan troops and Russian troops like, holy shit, what did we just do?
You guys see what happened with.
It'd be like a swarm.
You see what's going on with Finland, though. Now Sweden and Finland want to be in NATO. So when Finland announced this and Putin said, "Oh yeah, we'll do this, we'll do that," we sent battle groups up there, and they're having war games. So you have these aircraft carriers and all that. Submarines. I mean, we're in range. We're in range. We're right on the Russians' doorstep. And you know what's funny? The Russians didn't protest it. They said nothing. The Navy says nothing.
Yeah, and you said we're in range. On the Facebook before I came on, someone asked how far away is Alaska from Russia, and the answer is 4,725 kilometers or 2,000 something miles. So he's only close. A 6-hour drive away across the Aleutian Islands.
Yeah, if the straits ever come back up, we just drive over there.
Mm-hmm.
At one time they talked about building some crazy bridge, but I was thinking, man, isn't it pretty deep up there? Yes, Michael, DeSantis for president. I agree, dude. DeSantis for president. I know he's doing all kind of stuff in his state, giving away money, taking care of people, giving. He voted to give raises to everybody and help fund Second Harvest. This dude's just he's gonna be like 90% approval rate by the time he's done. He knows how to get to people's hearts. By the way, that thing in Los Angeles is still going on. They still barricaded it in Los Angeles hospital after stabbing 3 people. Yes, see no guns there, people. They're stabbing people away. And I heard those Trump indictments. 2 of the people. They said the DOJ said they're not going to indict. Who was it? It was, let me think a second. What the hell was their name? Meadows and Scavino. He sounds like he should be indicted. They decided they're not going to indict him. I did hear that one Trump was getting indicted, though. So we'll see where all of that goes. We just let off one of Hillary's people, so they had to let off some of Trump's people. I guess that's just the way the game is played. It's unfortunate, but that seems to be the way it is. Let me see. And yes, Gene, thank you about Butterbutt. Yeah, I can't help it. I call him Butterbutt. It's just his name now. Yes. Well, no, I don't think he was the one. Somebody told me he wasn't the one that Governor Abbott kicked out or had the police take out. I get them all confused over there. So they're Texans. They're all weird. But no, Butterbutt wasn't from Texas. He was from somewhere else. He was a mayor of some small shithole town. It wasn't even a big town. And all of a sudden, he could be running for president. Well, so in case y'all didn't know, he's in charge of transportation in the United States. And this thing with all the trucks being effed up is his fault. Yes, because he's never done this before. He was a governor, I mean, a mayor of a little shithole town, and we just
Exactly.
put him in charge of transportation for the entire country.
Yep.
I mean, come on, that would like give Michael and I a job. We wouldn't know what the hell we were doing. We'd be like,
Actually, I
yeah,
wouldn't
what's
know what I'm
try
doing
this?
because
Oh, listen, I be doing
I
so.
know how to manage how to manage things. But the thing is, these guys, like I said before, are not qualified for the job. They just get them out of bureaucracy. It's just a political give me, because they were on the team, but yet they have no skills, no nothing, and that's pretty scary. The people running the country they don't have a clue what they're doing or have an idea of a way out of a bad situation. They were hoping to sit back and let everything take care of itself. That's always the Democrats' plan: let things take care of itself. But the work life doesn't work like that.
And that might even be part of the problem with our country is that there are only a few parameters that allow you to qualify for the job of president. You got to be 40 years old, born in the country, and that's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't say you have to be a lawyer. It doesn't say you have to be a political science major or any kind of thing that would run the country. Any kind of skill. There's no skill set that says you need this skill set to be president. You just could be 40 years old, born in the States. That's it.
Yeah, so AOC will be president one day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's now move somewhere. I don't know where, but it won't be here. It's man, look at this. So on the highway I drive to work on, there's another. This is like the fourth time this happened the last month. Somebody at 7:40 this morning just started shooting across interstate, shooting holes in cars on interstate.
Dude, you
I
are not
mean,
safe anywhere. Anywhere. You see the thing in Westchester, right? This guy, plain old average dude, shopping, has a little cart going through the supermarket. This guy comes up behind him with a box cutter and cuts his jugular vein. And he died and walked away like it was nothing. People are becoming unhinged. You had years of COVID. Now we're going into this stupid war thing. People still can't travel. They still can't go out there. COVID still hasn't gone away. Just because the Democrats want to look the other way doesn't mean it's gone. But it's bad out there. So the mental people who aren't getting the help are losing it. And this was predicted a long time ago, man. People listen to the Red Pill News every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You're going to hear that. You're going to hear what's coming, because it's not hard to see. Not hard to see, but wait till fall. Wait till fall. You want to see people flipping, you know, especially if you're cold in your house. It's one thing if you got to pay a little extra for your food and your gas, but when you can't afford to do that, that's going to be the push, right?
it's gonna be. Oh, what the hell? All right, people, stop spamming. We out of time anyway.
Biden
Stop
said
spamming.
that it's God willing things will get better. He's leaving it up to God. So we're in a very bad place when you have a
Yeah.
president who's supposed to already to know what he's doing. Obviously, we all know that he doesn't know what he's doing. You know
He
what I
hasn't a
mean?
clue.
He never did.
Okay, wait. I got to read this. Amber Turd says she's a victim, but the public made her a villain.
He should put Hunter in charge. At least he knows how to make some money, right? If he's gonna be a scam artist, be a scam artist for our country.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I was reading some of the stuff on his laptop. How he's not under the federal jail is beyond me. And I think if there's a big red wave, see that's the real problem for everybody here. If there is a big red wave in November, then Durham will get some support, and some of his other stuff will get in there, and they'll get rid of some of these judges, and they'll get rid of this stuff. They'll go after him, so they'll quit doing it. And you'll see other support in other areas, because the GOP will have something. Then they'll have a way to manipulate the president. But
In
right
January
now,
of 2020, before COVID hit, January 2020, 93% of Americans were happy with their lives, happy with the
Mhm.
way things were, wouldn't change a thing. 93%.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and then they vilified Trump over COVID. Yeah, we got the vaccines because of him.
yeah.
You
Oh, if
know,
it wouldn't have been for COVID, he'd have won his second term. But
Oh,
yeah, shit
definitely.
happens. Shit happens, and you got to deal with it. He was always saying the whole year before the election, "Oh, they're going to cheat." Well, you knew they were going to cheat, then why don't you do something about it? I got to give him
right?
crap for that because you've been saying it for a year, dude. What the hell? Why don't you put your people out there?
Well, but
Uh,
but when it comes to
I didn't vote for him, Chris.
localities
Sorry.
and different states, there's only so much you can do. Unless I mean, they had people there watching and counting votes, right? But it's such a wide area for corruption. It's I think hard to control. and who knows who gets counted. They've been using dead people to vote for years, right? They go to the graveyard and get
Mhm.
names of people who have
They
died.
don't even have to go to the graveyard, Mike. All they got to do is look at the years past and say, "Oh, all these guys are
Yeah,
dead. Well, we'll put them in on our guys' votes."
yeah. These days it's easier, right? I mean, with the internet and
Mhm.
all that,
It's all on the
a lot
computer.
of
You don't
data,
have to go anywhere.
all that data. But they used to go to graveyards just to get the names, which is kind of, that shows you a mentality. They want to win. They want to win, but what are they winning? I mean, it's supposed to be representation of everybody across the board. And, the
Hmm.
Democrats compartmentalize people. They create groups, and then they play to those groups, and they tell those groups out, well, you're transgender, you're not getting enough. Oh yeah, you're a lesbian, you're not getting enough. Or you're black, you're not getting enough. And you're Spanish, you're not getting enough. And then they make people think like, hey, we deserve more. But really, the only thing people deserve is equal representation, right? And the government's not supposed to be getting into your personal life, sex, and politics. That's your own life. So I don't know, man. It's a mess. It's a
Sex,
mess.
drugs, and rock
There's
and
not one
roll.
area where it's not a crisis right now. And the only thing, and the Democrats can't even say anything about it. They can't even blame anybody but themselves. But they're not saying anything, are they? They're like, oh no, it's a good economy. They're just lying. To watch them, to listen to them, it's like what? It's like these people are so ridiculous. But
Yeah.
wow.
Well, it's like you said earlier. They like to have problems occur, and then they just ignore them until they go away. And that's kind of what we're seeing now. Is they're not saying anything about the gas prices. They're not saying anything about the crisis in Ukraine. They're just hoping it all kind of blows away with the wind.
Oh, I have cancer. I only just hope it goes away. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But that's the way they run their thing. So they'll be happy when there's a red wave. Then they'll be able to blame the Republicans for everything,
Mhm.
right? That you can't have these things because Republicans are voting against you. But it's going to take a long time to get. We're in a nosedive, and I don't really feel like it's going to be a problem that's solved for a long time if it gets solved at all.
The only way I can see them solving it is if the gas prices stay where they are now. Right now, I think it's 4.69. I can't see through the trees across to the gas station, but 4.69 a gallon up here. In order for me to afford that and groceries and drive to and from my work, I need another $4 or $5 an hour in my paycheck minimum. I mean,
Right.
that's just the rule of it.
New York State's going to well, they already suspended the gas tax until December 31st. So that's like 69 cents just to the state of New York. But then there's a federal tax and local taxes, but it's still something. It's something. I
Mhm.
just paid 5.15 a gallon the other day.
Ouch.
Because I don't put unleaded gas in my car. It's made for lawnmowers. You know what I mean? So I use a mid
Mhm.
grade, and I'm not gonna do that to my car because the prices are a little higher, so you pay more. The mid grade is more. Some people paying
Mhm.
over six,
Well, mid
and
grade's a splash anyway, so I mean, there's nothing wrong. It's people, most people don't even know what mid grade is. It's called the splash. It's what they do is they take half a tank of premium and a half a tank of regular, and they just splash it, and it becomes a mid grade. They've done that
89
forever.
octane. We'll just say
Yeah,
89 octane.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's an
oh
eighty.
wait,
87.
oh man, I get 89 on regular. Where the hell are you at?
Well, you're in New Orleans, man. Who knows what you guys
Yeah,
do
we get
there? But
our regular is 89. Yeah, our
Ours is
premium is
87,
9.
89, and 93. I think is the supreme.
Yeah, our
if you
premium's 93.
if you go up into the mountains, like way up in high elevation, they only have like 85 octane or 82 and
Uh,
83. You know what I mean? Because of the elevation. But
Yeah,
where I
less
am,
oxygen. So.
that's what it costs. And my Jeep likes to drink gas. It's got a Hemi, and I don't wimp out over mileage because I know what I got. You know what I mean?
mhm. Oh, I
But
know. Our rack mileage look like a crazy person.
but a lot of people are eating bologna now instead of roast beef, man, and
Yeah.
they're just sucking it up, all for what? For a political agenda and also this bullcrap war. So I mean, I just don't see an out. Even if the war ends, it's going to take a long time. Then we'll be in hurricane season. There's already one headed into the Gulf, so they're going to be like, "Oh, we got to shut down the refineries. There's a storm coming," and then it's going to be like that too, right? So prices keep going up, up, up. Once they
Hmm.
get the money out of you, they don't want to give it up, man.
Absolutely not. Yeah, in my department at my store, I have electrical conduit, like 5 months, 6 months ago, a 10-foot stick of half-inch electrical conduit, plastic, was $1.56 or $1.57 a stick. It's now $6.39. No, I'm sorry, $7.39 for a 10-foot stick. It is over $8 for 10-foot stick after tax. It has more than tripled in price since the gas prices went up.
Yeah, because people
Yeah,
don't. A lot of people don't know that
well,
crude oil is used to make plastic. You
Right,
know, I
and
mean, actually, once you
they're not
refine
going to
it,
bring
the
that price back
gasoline.
down. Once the gas comes back down, that $10 stick, $8 stick is going to stay that price.
Oh yeah, it
it's
will.
well, gas will go down. I mean, I'm not so much worried about gas. It'll eventually go down, and we'll get a new president, and then it'll go down, or somebody will release
It's
the
two
52
and a half years.
It's. Well, I'm not saying it's like, but it's gonna. It'll happen before then because what's going to happen? I mean, the forecast is for gas for $6 a gallon. So if that's true, diesel is going to be at least $8.
Yeah.
And if it's up north, it's going to be 10 or 11. So I mean, you're talking $1,000 a tank of gas for a trucker or more. That's going to get translated to us. And then there's other things.
Clothing,
tractor trailers. A
anything.
tank on a tractor trailer is around 300 gallons. So 300 gallons times whatever the price of that
Let's call it
diesel is,
5.
they are,
That's right there. That's 100. That's $1,500 right there. Right.
Yeah, it's. Ow.
And that doesn't take them all that far, you know. So and that's just going to go. The prices keep rolling down, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We're in a crisis, man, and there's no one's doing anything to get us out of the crisis. And you imagine if Trump was in there, and this was going on, what these guys would be saying? Oh my god!
But the problem is, it wouldn't be going on if Trump was in, so it's not even
It
worried
wouldn't
about
happen. We wouldn't be in this situation.
So I'm gonna make your Yankees, and I'm gonna make y'all jealous. So tomorrow I'm going to get me a rack of ribeye. So it's $145 for a rack. I'll get 16 nice 2-inch thick steaks out of it. Beautiful steak, cut the way I want them, already wrapped and ready to go, be frozen, or kept out, or whatever. I mean, they're unbelievable. It's like $4 a pound. I can get fillets right now for $30 a half, which I'll get 8 to 10, 12 or 14 ounce steaks out of. So we still get beef pretty cheap. Actually, right now it's cheaper to buy steak than ground meat. Figure that one out. Ground meat actually costs more than steak does right now.
Where I live,
but
there's
chicken's
a lot of
like
local farms.
insane. Yeah, and that's what helps.
Where I live, there's local farms and heavy agriculture, so you can get like local grass-fed beef, you know, for decent prices if you want that type of thing. So.
Yeah, we get good Black Angus, whatever you'd see on the market beef. It's fabulous. And but you know, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia all produce. So does California. So does Texas. They produce a lot of beef, and they produce a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables. So it's, you know, you can go to any number of fruit stands down here and just buy local produce all day long. What gets me is when people tell me, well, you know, there's no chemicals in it at all. I'm like, okay, we ain't done nothing. Just let them eat. I'm like, yeah, so why does it cost more, not less? If you're not giving them chemicals and you're not giving them special food and just letting them free range and shit, why is it costing me more for a chicken egg? There's no difference between a brown and white chicken egg anyway, so why are you costing me more?
Probably the feed, the care. You know, if you want to, I mean, if they're free range, it's different. But you know,
organic is, when you say organic, that means you're not doing anything to them. You're just letting them do
no medicines, no hormones.
Yeah, so I mean, so that should be cheaper, not more expensive.
Yeah,
that's
but it is. It's more expensive.
It is more expensive, quite a bit more expensive too.
Because if you put the word organic on anything like gourmet, you're going to pay more. It's just that's the way it goes.
You're going to pay more.
You know, like when chicken's going bad in the store, they take it and they douse it with like Italian seasoning and whatever, and they wrap it up and they call it gourmet and they charge twice the amount of money. You know, even though it was chicken that was going bad. So that's the game, right? It's all a game.
Yeah, it's always some stuff like that. But we got to get out of here anyway, guys. It's like 17 after. Oh yeah, Glenn. Well, we'll get to more stories next week. Well, we didn't get to talk about the Ukraine war tonight. Yeah, it's the same thing was yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before and the day before. Until something really changes. I mean, right now it's Ukrainians holding their own, and Russia not knowing what the hell it's doing. I think right now Putin is weighing his life. He found out he's got 3 years to live. I think he's weighing his life and what he wants to be doing for those 3 years. Does he want to be raging war the last 3 years of his life? Well, yeah, if he wants to go hell, I'm sure he does. Is that the best thing for him and his people right now, since he's going to be, you know, he should be assured who's going to be the next leader of the Soviet, I mean, I was going to say Soviet Union of Russia. Um, there's better things for him to be doing. So will he or not? His kids are going to want to spend time with him. So is this going to happen or not? So that's what we got to wait and see. Or is he just going to be a hard ass and try to start World War III with the crazy Joe Biden guy, which will probably will have a heart attack first day of the war, and then we'll have Kamala Harris running the country.
You.
And with a war going on, yes, the woman who's never served in the armed forces, never really been a politician. She was a district attorney, and she's going to be running things. Oh, this shit. Nancy will probably have her assassinated and
Yeah.
take over.
We can only hope.
Or actually, Nancy won't even do that. She'll probably get with the Republicans and do a vote of no confidence. Which will give it to her, and then of course the Republicans get together after that, do another vote of no confidence and give it to somebody else. But I'd rather all the three we got to choose from. I'd rather Nancy than the other two. At least I know she's not gonna put up no shit from Putin. She'd be like, yeah, what? I'll call my friend Hillary. Putin, you better watch out. I can hear it now. Guys and girls, just keep up on all the Durham stuff. We don't know where it's going. We don't know what's happening. There's stuff that talk about appeals and unfairness because, the people were Hillary fans or whatever. Just pay attention, see what's going on. There'll be a lot of stuff coming out closer. I think Durham's going to hold on to some of the stuff closer till we get closer till November.
Oh yeah,
so it'll be in the news. So it'll be in the news for the election. Current, if you go by the Vegas numbers right now, if you were to vote in the election, which you can't vote on an election in the United States, but you can vote it in other countries. The current line has the Republicans winning, I think, 9-1. That's big. And it may be more than that if this shit keeps up like this. If we get to November and gas is $6-7 a gallon here, which means it's $9-10-11 a gallon where y'all are, nah, the country's just going to be like, what the hell's going on here? When it costs you a
destroying our economy. Things can't keep going like that.
Yeah, when you go to McDonald's and
seasons,
when your policies put the middle class in the lower class, you're going to get voted out. Period.
Look, if you look at California and you look at Nevada right now, and those states that draw off of Lake Powell and also Lake Mead, these dams, the hydro dams are the water's evaporated. I mean, those lakes are empty. It's getting to the point where they're not going to be able to power those power plants. So then you're going to have to pipe it in from other areas. So there's demands that are going to be going on beyond their green energy and renewables. There's demands, and now that demand is fossil fuel, and we're screwed, man. We are totally screwed because these guys don't know how to figure this out. They don't have, or this is what they want, because the Democrats are always like that, aren't they? Make people, drive people down to the lowest possible level that they can exist at, and keep them down. Make sure they can't travel. Keep them in one place. They're still getting their same taxes. They're making more now off of people than they were before. So they're not losing out on anything. We are.
Yeah, we're gonna get screwed anyway this goes. But we got to get out of here, guys and girls.
Wait till the fall. It's only a few months away.
It could be if you're not. Let me put it this way: come in the fall or winter. Let's just say really winter, because that's when it's gonna get the worst. Dead winter. If you're not financially probably stable, come dead winter, you could find yourself living in the street, or at the very least find yourself living without power.
I predict piping hot weather for the Southwest and the Midwest, and they're going to want to turn on those air conditioners, man. They're going to have to, especially businesses and
Oh, it's going to get hot, yeah. Oh, we've got just a couple of days, or actually, 2-3 weeks, in the whole East Coast, across the entire Gulf Coast, all the way at the East Coast, is just going to turn into a shit.
You got New Mexico's on fire right now. And there's hundreds of acres. Hundreds of thousands of acres on fire in these fires. So they don't know what to do about that. And, it was the Park Service that did it.
Yeah,
they did a controlled burn.
Supposed to be a controlled burn. Yeah,
it joined another fire and caused all this stuff. And you know what the local residents said? You don't light a match in these months because it's too dry and too windy. Why did the Park Service do this?
Well, if they would have done it right, they wouldn't have had it. See, down here when they do, because they do control burns down here all the time, but what they do is they cut a swath through everything. They make a break. They take these I guess they're just giant rakes, and they rake all the timber off, and then they cut a trench, and then they cut all the hedge out for at least to at least 50 or 60 feet so it doesn't jump over. If a tree falls, it's not going to hit another one. It helps control it. But they don't understand that out west. They just let shit pile up. And that's another thing. We cut the sides of our highways. We go in and thin out woods. We got contracts. They have lumber taken out all the time to keep the forest thinner because we
Well,
know if it starts.
In the last couple of years in New Mexico, they had a lot of rain, and that made things grow. Like the bushes and grass. They have that real tall grass. So that's what really is burning now. And I just can't believe that the Park Service that they weren't thinking. And you think they'd be used to doing stuff like that, right? Because that's
Yeah, and
supposed to be
there's
part
lots
of
of
what
ways
they do.
they could have stopped it. They just didn't know what they were doing. That's all. They're not people. You need to put people who know what they're doing in
But
charge of
people's
control
houses are
things.
burning down now.
But
You
we
know,
got to go, guys. We got to go. Michael, thank you. Jay, thank you. You can catch all of them. Jay usually comes out. We're going to get Jay because we're back on regular schedule on the Centralist now. So, and every now and then we'll do a special news on the flip side. But so, Jay, you can come join us. You're welcome to come any Friday you're off. So just let me know. Michael will be here. I'll be here. We're going to bring in a couple others maybe as well. But we're looking for regulars. That's why I was bugging Jay because I know he's on a lot on Friday nights on Church of Mavis with Uncle Jeffrey Pritchard. He's actually like Uncle Fester, but we love him anyway.
well, that's Uncle Fester's that other guy. He actually looks like Uncle Fester.
Who's Uncle
He does
Fester?
look like Uncle Fester.
No, he's talking about somebody else, Jay. Mike is
Oh,
talking about somebody. Who you talking about?
Syracuse there. He looks like
Oh,
he's
you know what? You know what? Phil and Jeff kind of look alike, so I don't know. Anyway, guys, we're teasing.
he
If
puts a
anybody's
light bulb in
listening
his
to it,
mouth.
oh my God, the things that get said on this damn show. Guys and girls, hope you enjoyed. Sorry about the 20 minutes we got onto the guns. It's just guy talk. Every now and then that'll happen, but the rest of it was pretty good news. A lot of stuff came out tonight. Pay attention, and if you've got particular topics you want to hear, or if we're live, excuse me, and you want to send us information, the best way is Messenger, unless you're on one of the feeds. If you're watching some video feed, then of course any of the YouTube or Facebook pages you can send via that way, because we can actually play things in the room. We can look at things in the room, so you can always send it to us and let us make it part of the show. And again, for the people who sent me stuff tonight, thank you, because I hate looking up stuff when I'm talking. So it's nice when y'all send me stuff over there. For all of our friends and fans who tuned in tonight, thanks again, and we'll all see you next
And
Friday.
be safe. Be safe
Yes.
out there. Be careful. Be
Yes.
safe. Tune in to Discovery Paranormal, 8 o'clock at night,
Never heard
Eastern
of it.
Time every Tuesday, and the Red Pill News, where we give it to you real Red Pill news on every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's all I got to say.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good
Adios.
night.